It's the Great War, Chad. It's the battle music. Sauron's forces are at the gate, and we must beat it back with Lord Saladin and the few guardians that remain. Never fear, Chad. The Iron Banner is here to test our metal. Sauron has no chance. He will fall beneath our greatness. And together, victory shall be in our grasps. Bro, I really should just play League of Legends. By the way, I'm on Pretzel right now. I got the app up, and I just saw like Game Station, that's new. You got like League, you got Fortnite, you got FIFA, I think you got COD, you got Minecraft apparently. Dude, this is like, yeah, I'm vibing, chat. Let's start the show. Boom. Oh, look at this. This actually looks like a functional chat right now. Where's my...
Is this drama? Jenna tells the story of how she...
Give me one quick second. Let's put this on. And I can do this. And then I can do this. Yes, we're going to be watching a ton of fucking videos. This literally should be like one after the other too.
She got unfollowed by XQC.
So I was like, all right, I'll give some of that energy back. I'll give him some energy back, because he's like talking this big game. He's like, my charisma's maxed out, blah, blah, blah. So I Google searched. I was like, learning disability schools in Canada, and I screenshotted it and I sent it to him, and I was like, you know, I don't think I'm qualified to help you out with this one.
That was a good comeback, I'm not gonna lie. That's actually pretty fucking funny.
XOXO. And all I have to say is he unfollowed he unfollowed me. I don't know.
We're not gonna really do this now. I did not get the god roll for this.
Well,
you need feeding frenzy for this, because look at that fucking reload speed. But everything else is like 40 mag, 93 recoil, hammer forge.
I've seen her make so many people uncomfortable.
You think someone pay $100,000 to have sex with you? That's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's funny.
What do you think, higher?
No.
What do you think?
You're bald.
Okay.
That's what I think.
I have seen her make so many people fucking uncomfortable. And the thing is, it's because I think that she is...
Because she's good at it.
Degenerate. I do. I think she kind of is. And they're not used to a girl acting like that. I also I was thinking about the Twitter DMs show your last recent message. And so we saw
I need
the
to
XQC
up this
DM
up a
of
little
him
bit too.
He had his charisma maxed. So she could have actually seen the clip of him leaking his DMs and then messaged him that. After that.
Bungie just dropped a massive article detailing a ton of new PvP changes coming to...
So for just like everybody who doesn't know too, I just have a bunch of videos saved up, and I'm just gonna put them all. I just put it all on play. It's all gonna autoplay. So it's just not. I didn't put anything in order. We're just gonna walk through all this.
Destiny 2 with Lightfall. Let's jump in from the very beginning. We have Lightfall Crucible update. Lightfall has launched, and we are now several weeks into season 20. Lots
this
of
is
updates
basically
are live
like
with everything from an
you
overhauled
need this
build crafting system to fresh seasonal weapons and raid loot. While these changes have given both our PvE and Crucible players a lot of exciting things to look forward to,
creates a void breach.
Meaningful changes in the activity and reward structure for Crucible, and want to give everyone a preview of what's coming. Very nice, very interesting. There's a lot to talk about. So here's a handy TLDR of what we're covering: playlists and offerings, updates to map and game mode weighing now live, Clash is leaving quick play mid-season, interesting, new connection-based matchmaking, Crucible Rotator incoming mid-season, that sounds awesome, matchmaking, a data-driven explanation of Fireteam matchmaking, I love to see this. Fireteam matchmaking has replaced freelance now live. If you don't know, if you just go into the Trials playlist, for example, or go into Iron Banner rather, solo, you should match more solos than you should match like a team of 6, for example. So that's the way the matchmaking is supposed to work with Fireteam-based matchmaking. Or if you do match a team, then if it's like a team of 4 against
That's going to take a lot longer, to be honest with you, for like matchmaking.
Matchmaking adjustments mid-season. Loose skill-based matchmaking settings are changing mid-season. I wonder if they're becoming more strict or less strict. Competitive division, we have competitive matchmaking and skill rating explained. Nice. Future skill ranking and matchmaking system adjustments. Interesting. Upcoming competitive rewards mid-season and beyond. Quality of life improvements mid-season and beyond. Okay. Iron Banner and Trials of Osiris. Upcoming Iron Banner plans, future seasons. Trials of Osiris labs with new matchmaking rules. Interesting. Very interesting. Preview of Season 21 Trials changes. Oh man, this is going to be crazy. New and returning game modes. Countdown Classic. Countdown Respawn. Countdown Rush. And Checkmate. Okay. I am extremely interested after just that brief overview. I want to start with a rundown of items we added in Season 19 and the changes we're making to them. Overall playlists and offerings. We've done a ton of reflecting on player feedback to the Crucible changes we made at the start of Season 19. We recently moved Rumble back onto the Crucible screen full-time, and when Lightfall went live a few weeks ago, we also made the following changes to the Quick Play playlist, map, and mode weighting. Very nice. I was very happy to see Rumble return. Rumble should always just be a part of the...
Oh yeah, I did stream on Kick like yesterday. Like there's like their primary like chat bot is like down right now, and there's like another bot. I'm gonna wait to see what like if these bots come back up too, because like I'm just afraid of like getting like spam with like swastikas and slurs and stuff like that, and then like manually doing it. Like I'll wait till there's like better moderation on the platform too, and I'll just keep streaming like pretty hardcore on like YouTube.
Director. There should never be a time when Rumble's gone. Game modes increase the likelihood of getting control as the game mode over Clash. Got it. Maps, we got increased weight, more likely to play these maps: Javelin 4, Burnout, Rusted Lands, Midtown, and Wormhaven. I agree with a good majority of those. Those are some of the best maps in the game. Standard weight is Endless Veil. Okay. Altar Flame, Distant Shore, The Fortress, Pacifica, Radiant Cliffs, Bannerfall, Eternity, Widow's Court, Fragment, and Vostok. Okay, throw Widow's Court and Vostok in the reduced weight section. Now, in the reduced weight, less likely to play on these maps, we have Disjunction. Oh, that kind of hurts, because Bungie literally had like multiple years without a new Crucible map, and then the first time they bring one out, the community has unanimously hated on this map so much. And comment down below if you hate Disjunction. So much so that they have now removed it or pushed it to the reduced weight category. So Bungie has to definitely be reeling from that feedback, because that definitely has to sting. If you're the Crucible team that came up with the map Disjunction, you have to be really feeling like, holy crap, we made it a crap map. Cathedral of Dusk, which they brought back for whatever bizarre reason, and is just a terrible map. Then we have Twilight Gap, the Dead Cliffs Clash only, Anomaly added back into the playlist at reduced weight, Cauldron added back into the playlist at reduced weight, Clash only, got it, and not in playlist, Exodus Blue and Convergence being removed from the playlist.
Why is Nightbot?
Interesting to see those two.
Oh yeah,
gone. Let me know if you agree with those weighted map changes. Upcoming changes in Season 20's mid-season patch, we'll be making another set of larger changes. Clash will be leaving the Quick Play playlist, leaving only Control.
Okay.
So it reverts to its old name, Control.
Do I need to like do that from like my main chat here?
And that is active. Interesting.
Oh, sorry about this, guys.
We'll continue to use loose skill-based matchmaking, but we'll be making some changes to the matchmaking parameters. Loose skill-based matchmaking will have its skill and connection filters modified so that latency windows will be expanded at the slowest rate, and skill windows will start tighter but can expand more quickly as needed. This should manifest as more evenly matched games with lower skill variances for most players.
All right, sorry about this.
Fallback being gradually increasing the skill variance as opposed to widening the connection quality. Interesting. I wonder if they're getting some negative feedback about Iron Banner. I wonder if the overall population is significantly lower since they have introduced skill-based matchmaking and fireteam-based matchmaking into Iron Banner. I wonder if the numbers have plummeted a good amount. We'll see. They have a few graphs down below. This does not mean you will never see lag in Crucible, We do not prevent players from manually joining fire
Oh,
teams. To
I
which
never
they may have a
added-
poor connection, and connections are dynamic, so their quality can sometimes degrade mid-game for a variety of reasons. But it does mean that matchmaking will try to only expand connection quality brackets as a last resort once the available skill and fire team size options have been exhausted. Got it. In addition, we are splitting the current rotator into 2 separate playlists, both of which rotate game modes weekly and both use connection-based matchmaking with no plans to change this. Got it. Crucible Relentless Rotator, Clash, Rift, and Zone Control. We see this as our main haven for players who want to engage with large team-based gameplay outside of SBMM, and having it will make sure there is always conventional team-based Destiny PvP to play when Iron Banner is active. The Relentless Rotator will be
give me
replaced with
one
Trials
second.
of Osiris when it is active. Got it. Crucible Party Rotator. Oh, the Party Rotator. Mayhem, Scorched, and Momentum Control. Those are all very chill modes. Party Rotator sounds about right for them. These are modes that significantly modify the general sandbox in Destiny and play very differently than normal Crucible. All remaining freelance modes have been removed with fire team based matchmaking in place. See the matchmaking section below for more details. Competitive division, rumble, and private match will remain always on options. Got it. So here, this is what it's going to look like in the future. We got rumble, private match, and then the mayhem. So we got the party section. We got trials, which will be rotated out from whenever Iron Banner is around, and control would be here. I guess Iron Banner would be here, and then I don't know if they're going to do Iron Banner and trials at the same time again. We'll see. I don't think they're going to do that, but we'll see. Additionally, we will be running Crucible Labs starting in the middle of Season 20 to put 3v3 countdown and a few variations through their paces. More below. Fireteam Matchmaking. At the start of Season 19, we added a new feature to our matchmaking called Fireteam Matchmaking. The goal with Fireteam Matchmaking is to keep fireteams mostly matching against other fireteams of their size, making it easier to play as a solo or a duo in 3v3 or 6v6 matches. Matching teams of similar compositions should make matches
so the
generally
bot's
more
there.
approachable no matter what your fireteam size is, and I'm actually a fan of Fireteam Matchmaking. I feel like I've had a lot more fun and fair games with Fireteam Matchmaking. Comment down below if you've enjoyed that, especially if you're solo. It's nice. If you're solo, you go in as a solo, you mostly match solos. That's the way it should be. Original hope was that we would have it full-time in quick play, which has no freelance node, and be able to test it on Iron Banner by late January, then move it to other nodes in Season 20, and slowly start removing freelance nodes altogether. Our original few weeks of quick play were strong enough when looking at Fireteam matchups that we decided to enable it in Iron Banner the first week and completely remove freelance from Iron Banner by January. To illustrate, the chart below is from week 2 of Iron Banner when we remove the freelance node. The chart is based around the player's personal fireteam size. It shows the kind of composition of matches that were happening. Got it? Fireteam size. Okay. Excellent. So you got a 95% chance of, if you're a Fireteam 6, matching a Fireteam 6. If you ran with the full Fireteam 6, you matched others with full Fireteams with over 95% of the time. If you ran solo, you went against a full Fireteam 0.2% of the time. That's 1 out of every 500 matches. To break that one down further, if you're a solo and went up against a full stack Fireteam, 60% of the time you were paired with a 5-person Fireteam. Got it? 5% of the time you were matched with a 4-person Fireteam and another solo. 4% of the time you were matched with a 3-person Fireteam and either a duo or 2 other solos. 31%
God
of
damn,
the time
this is
you were
like a
matched with 5
lot
other
of fucking
solos
content.
or some mix of solos and duos against a full Fireteam. Okay, this seems like a good change. It seems like that's a proper way of balancing Crucible matchmaking in regards to Fireteams. These numbers seem pretty good, and that's why I removed the freelance and Iron Banner node. No matter what size Fireteam you go in with, really all the time you are put into a reasonably composed matchup. However, there are 2 small areas we feel like could use improvement. First, for large Fireteams 4+ and 6v6, Fireteam matchmaking will heavily prioritize equivalent Fireteam size over all other options, so much that it prefers to match 2 equally sized large Fireteams with a wide skill delta over 2 similarly sized Fireteams with a narrow skill delta. Interesting. Second, if Fireteam matchmaking is unable to find a suitable match for a large Fireteam within the given time frame, which happens approximately 1% of the time when searching as a 6-person Fireteam, it will default to taking the first available match, which sometimes results in the smaller number of matches mentioned above, where a 6-person matches a team of solos. Got it? To combat both issues, in our mid-season patch, we'll be making a change to Fireteam matchmaking control in Iron Banner that if matchmaking was unable to find an equally sized Fireteam with a narrow skill delta, will allow it to search for a similarly sized Fireteam with a narrow skill delta before handing out for a equally sized Fireteam with a wider skill delta. Got it. So basically they're trying to balance out, should you as a fire team of 6 match 6 solos of equal skill, equal or greater skill, or should you as a fire team of 6 only match other fire teams of 6, even if the fire team of 6 is of lesser skill, if they've been determined to have lesser skill. So should it always be 6s versus 6s, or should it be this team of 6 and their skill rating versus 6 solos and their skill rating, or 2 teams of 3 and
That
their
makes
skill
sense.
rating? So there's kind of some variations that they're doing, and they're experimenting with a few different things. Example, if you are in a 6-person fire team with a weighted average skill of 150, the system may prefer a 4-person fire team paired with a duo with a weighted average skill of 200, as opposed to waiting for another 6-person fire team with a skill of 400. This should improve both match quality and matchmaking times for larger fire teams. This change should also reduce instances of fire team matchmaking being unable to find a suitable match before hitting the time limit and defaulting to the first available. In the rare cases where solo players do match against large fire teams, they should almost always have a large fire team on their team as well. Got it. On the 3v3 front, removed the freelance option at the start of Season 20 and added fire team matchmaking into the competitive division playlist, and we have seen the following compositions. So if you're a fire team of 3, you match other fire teams of 3 at about 98% rate, and solos match other solos at about 80% rate. Got it. Full fire teams are matchmaking other full fire teams 90% of the time. Fire teams of a duo and one of a solo are matched with the same opponent. Team composition over 98% of the time. Got it. Since we removed the freelance node from both competitive division and Trials of Osiris, we'd also like to share data.
So
purely
I
from
don't
the
see
POV
what
of a solo player.
So I don't see what.
If you queue solo, 80% of your fire teams will all be solos, and you'll be paired with duo nearly 20% of the time. If you get matched with other solos, 90% of your games will be against another team of all solos. If you're paired with a duo, over 90% of your games are against a duo/solo combo. We're happy with these numbers, although matchmaking times for 2-person fire teams are a little on the long side, so we may look to revisit the parameters in the future to see if we can improve this. Comp division, here we go. Another big feature we introduced in Season 19 was a revamp of the competitive division.
Is that not
playlist.
working too?
These were our goals when we built it.
Sorry
All
guys,
players can
just
find
give
a
me
variety
one
of
second.
balanced matches and feel competitive.
Listen,
Make players
I
be
like my
appearing as
money.
a core part of their Guardian identity. Have places in the ecosystem to not engage in the ranked play, but still have decently balanced matches, or to not engage in skill-based matchmaking at all.
This is probably like the longest lucky video I've ever seen.
Matchmaking rating, or MMR. Here's a graph of the competitive division versus skill for all players with 30 or more games played in Season 19, around 3 games a week. Got it? Okay. The thin black line is the target division rank of each skill. The thin line is the mean division, and each dot is a single player. The colors each dot represent what division the player is in. Okay. Got it. Outside of the handful of outliers, you can see that no one is more than 1,000 division rank above
Some
their skill.
commands
It also
are
shows
not
that
working.
probability a little too hard to
Socials
climb your
work.
target rank,
Dono
as the
works.
average is well below, especially in the mid to high skill range. When we look at the same graph of people who completed 150 games in the season, nearly 15 a week, the graph looks a lot better for those serious PvP players. Got it. Outside of some real noisiness in the lower skill brackets, there are a few lower skill but heavy PvP players. The average lines up well with the target and what we want to see. You might notice a few strange dots, medium to low skill, but all the way up to the Ascendant or Adept ranks. We were super happy these players called themselves out to us, as we immediately knew there was either a serious bug or something fishy going on. We've investigated their individual match history and issued permanent bans for win trading. What?
Oh,
There's some win
shit.
trading going on. Dang, that's actually crazy. People were doing win trading in comp. Why though? I wonder why. Just to get the rank? Strange. For those of you,
Yeah, there's no
who are
like
interested in
competitive
how
scene for
your
Destiny
rank
2
against
either. It
others,
doesn't make any
here's the end
sense.
of Season 19 breakdown in number of players in each division, which shows the nice bell curve one would expect in a ranked system. Got it. Seems fair. Skill matchmaking versus rank matchmaking. Competitive division matches players based on their skill, not their rank. This can feel counterintuitive, but matching purely based on rank can lead to a couple of bad side effects. One, smurfing. A high skill veteran player creates a new account purely to play against lower skill / newer players who they can mop the floor with. This of course leads to mismatched games and drives newer players away from the game. While this is possible now, the skill system picks up on your smurfing skills quickly and moves smurf accounts to the proper skill pool. 2, tanking. This is a high skill player intentionally losing a number of games in a row so they can D-rank and play against lower skilled players who they can mop the floor with. Currently, once the skill system understands where they sit, it can be very time consuming to convince it that they are much worse than when they are tanking and it will quickly bring them up to their former
You
skill.
don't
once
know
they
what's
start
going on
playing
there. Some of the
again.
commands aren't
So
working.
while this
It's okay.
is still possible, in both cases, our skill system makes the hassle of playing lower skilled players much worse than the number
Listen,
of games.
just back to this.
against them
Let's
will
play a
generate.
fucking game.
So
Come
instead,
on.
we choose to matchmake based on our
Ability,
internal skill
arc.
values, which
Bro,
almost all
they are-
multiplayer games do too. The approach most modern ranking systems take is to match you based on an internal matchmaking rank, MMR, and throttle or expand gains and losses of the ranking system so it closely follows the internal MMR. As the graph above illustrates, a vast majority of players are near their target division if they have played enough matches, so we believe the skill matching and ranking systems themselves are working well with a few caveats below. Interesting. Now we've got a section of how skill is determined. Here we go. We've taken a deep dive on this
biggest
before,
fan
but
of
we
that.
don't want to look at your stats and pick up random skill. Each player starts out with a neutral skill value, and they play against other players, all of whom have some skill value, neutral if they haven't played, or some positive or negative number if they have. After that match, it ranks all the players based on a wide variety of internal stats. Much more on that, how we show on the scoreboard. Generally weighted toward stats that are correlated with winning. Once everyone is ranked, it looks to see if there are any players out of place. Guardian A played better than Guardian B. The Guardian B has a higher skill. It takes those two Guardians and tweaks their skill values, pushing A up and pushing B down. It's important to note that, like ELO rating system, our skill system is always relative, and the adjustments are made by looking at the other Guardians in your match. Over time, it becomes more and more confident in player skill, and we'll start reducing the
This is
amount of
legitimately
skill
like the
we
longest
push
one
up or
I've
down
ever
after a
seen
match.
of
You must
one of
play better
Lucky's
than your skill
videos.
consistently over several matches before it will improve your skill, so it can feel like you get stuck in your skill, and this translates to your competitive division. Just because we believe the systems are working well doesn't mean there aren't things to improve. Based on around Season 19 feedback, analytics, and our own observations of competitive division over the season, we're going to be making some adjustments in the future season. First bullet point we have is it can feel too hard to climb your target division if you aren't securing enough wins. This is particularly bad if you're at the bottom half of the skill curve. We want the 30 game graph above to look more like a 150 game graph, just with more people. If you are below your target division rank and have yet to reach it during the current
it's
season,
in my
we're looking to add
mailbox.
some additional ranking adjustments, as well as blend your current division rank with your skill for matchmaking purposes. So if you place below your target division, matches will be easier to win when you start your climb, as you should get more for each win. This helping system will end once you get near your target division, so deranking back down will not produce the same result as a second time. Interesting. It can feel too hard to break out of your target division once you reach it. We're looking at loosening up the confidence of the skill system described above and making it easier to increase and decrease your skill rating based on your associated division rank. The actual skill system is a separate server that does its calculations and skill adjustments out of sync with the scoreboard in the match, so we must do a rough estimate of the skill adjustment in the
Alright, so
scoreboard
we'll
to
just
be able
go
to give
ahead
a
and
rank
just do
adjustment
this.
in the moment. We aren't currently happy with how this estimate is working, so we're taking a more thorough pass at the scoreboard estimation for skill adjustment and bringing this more in line with what the skill server is doing. While the overall system is generally getting players to the right place over time, in the moment, some of the outcomes can feel arbitrary, particularly the times where you win but only gain 5 division points. There are a few things happening here. You can feel like you played well. What you didn't see is that you were matched up against an opposing team with an average skill well below yours, making your gains minimal. This is one of the most common ways of only gaining 5 points. That's really funny. That's happened to me before. I'm like, why did I gain so much less? I want to show you an average of the other team's skills on the scoreboard, so you can have a better idea of how good your team is, especially compared to you, and how good the opposing team is. If you win, your division rank will go up, even if the skill system thinks you should go down. This is another way you can get 5 points. Conversely, if you lose, your division rank will go down, even if the skill system thinks you should go up. Losses that result in losing 5 points. We're taking a hard look at these values. Skill is attempting to judge your individual performance relative to the players, not whether or not your team won or lost. We have investigated removing the forced positive or forced negative rank changes, but believe it will feel worse to lose points on a win than it does to gain them on a loss. Alternatively, we could increase the minimum points gain and loss from 5 to a higher value. That means you would lose more rank in games where you performed well but didn't pull out the win than you did currently. That would be a crazy change. Hopefully they don't do that. Finally, if you are well above your target division, it scales your gains down and your losses up. If you are well below your target division,
I think we're
it
just gonna
scales your
move
gains
on
up
to
and
the
your
next
losses
video.
down.
Sorry, Lucky.
Back to Brazil. I survived the hot sauce. I was cheating very hard. I literally didn't eat any sauce. Okay, I just put a tiny dab and then I would just lick it a little bit just to give it a sniff. Dude, I had a flight later that day and I did not want to shit. I did not want to blow up the plane. In terms of defecation. If I actually ate it legit and I walked through the scanning thing, the x-ray, body x-ray, they would have fucking stopped me and been like, ma'am, we're gonna have to check out what is that load that you have in your colon. That looks like extreme packages of, is that cocaine? And they're gonna have to get me to squat and cough. And then you know what's gonna happen? I'm gonna shit all over the floor. They're gonna have to evacuate the airport. So maybe it's better that I thought ahead and I didn't eat too much hot sauce. I literally almost shit myself the day of the
So we got some more of these. Let's just...
On the way there, we had to make an emergency stop at Starbucks. I ran in, opened the bathroom. Thank God it wasn't one of those, you know, you have to like pay to use the bathroom and they don't give you the key unless you pay. Walked in, dropped a bomb, and then fled the crime scene. It was fucking bad. All the food in Texas is so heavy. Like, you want to order a salad, it's gonna come with, it's gonna be 90% dressing, 10% leaf. And I'm like, I just want some leafy green fibers, please. It's just all meat, oil, grill, barbecue. God. Dude, I never thought I ate wings wrong. Nobody ever made fun of my wing eating before. It was funny what Nick said at the end. This is the first contestant that they had come on, not answer any of the questions, not eat any of the sauce, and did not know how to eat the wings. I just wanted to hang out with them. I just wanted to hang out, okay?
Fair enough.
Didn't do anything. Did I try Whataburger? No. I was very conscious of what I was eating there because if I ate too much of the food there, I was gonna shit myself nonstop. And I literally already did. Every day I had shits. Like not the good kind of shit. Like it's like,
dude, I just like this. This just looks good.
Too bad.
But I want something different though.
What I eat. Most of the time Asian food is fine as long as it's not too oily. Like rice is good. When I eat a lot of rice, it seems to help with the poops a lot. LAPD did not find a body in my room. That did not happen. That was not true.
This is not how I thought the video was gonna go.
Kaide, can I come over tomorrow? I need to. We gotta do the.
We'll move on to this.
XQC reacts to Hassan's editor posting about XQC on Twitter.
Not orthodox. Do you think that it's a healthy thing to have an editor that is like his own social media person and let him tweet things that are going to look like done on your behalf, even though they're damaging to your views and your goals? If it went against what you actually believe in, you would probably correct him. When he does this and you let it fly under the radar and that you're kind of like almost like green lighting the whole thing, because if Knox said something you didn't agree with him, you probably correct him. But since you don't correct him, he feels like you agree with him. I thought that was pretty underhanded and kind of weird, but since you're kind of on the same page as him, then you let him get away with it, which I think is a decently unhealthy interaction. Yo,
Hear all opposition, that we may lead.
I partake in unhealthy things as well. The problem isn't between me and him and Hassan. It's in training Hassan. Wad.
The problem is you don't like how his editor conducts his business, and you think Hassan should assert more, essentially, editorial control.
Or some shit.
Kick down their front door while we slip in the back.
Okay.
Get you inside.
Now you're locked in making these videos for free. For a guy who lives in a 3 mil house while you are on the streets like a bum and you're talking shit out of your stupid ass, waiting for them to spread the wealth when it's just a dream. Wake up, ass mother. Wake up. I thought that was pretty underhanded and kind of weird. Orthodox gives in absolute brain GG. Where Orthodox sounds like Orthodox.
That is
Brain dead, it is.
If you guys enjoyed this video, feel free to drop a like, and if you want to keep up with the latest news and clips, be sure to subscribe and turn notifications on, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
That's just how it be, baby.
Let's have a look at a couple of clips to warm up.
Less questions.
Did you have breakfast today?
I did have breakfast.
And something that XQC's perfect at.
I'm not gonna lie, I think one stream we're just gonna watch all her videos, like the oldest to like the newest.
And then lose the award that he deserves to win for the last 5
Are we sure it's not an AI? Like, this is just like content gold, man. Like, the level of absurdity that we're talking about here is just like ridiculous.
When the award was done, there was an after party. That's what makes breaks down the door.
Shit! Yo! Okay, dude. Okay. Guys,
Throwing with the right hand every OTV member in the room. She was going to pick Saikuna up, and that's when HCC came in and tackled her down. She got a concussion and got a free meet and greet with Juice WRLD. Then the ambulance came in and she got electrocuted back to life. So the party got cancelled and Cutie was $50,000 down. But that is nothing for her because her show was just some of ads. This is what pain looks like.
okay.
Oh my god.
Okay, yeah, this shit goes way too far. You know.
XQC acquiescing to the Twitch aristocracy masters there. Oh no, video of her crying. No.
Huge thank you to our sponsor Fansly for sponsoring.
I don't want to watch
Make
this.
sure you follow the Fansly account for.
Oh my god.
I don't know
so
if Fansly like
awkward.
actually does like
So
explicit
awkward.
like. I just like don't know.
Alright. Alright.
I don't want to watch this. Keeps watching anyway. Classic. Classic. This is indeed what pain looks like.
Have to ask, have you ever been to high school? Because high schoolers are messing around with each other and left and right all the time. Yeah, I have been, okay? My point is I'm 32, I don't want to think about that, it's gross. Okay? What do you want me to tell you? So, I didn't really go to high school that much though. Kind of like once the 10th grade hit, I kind of stopped going. I stayed home mostly. I was a fucking cringe kid. I was like a double honor student, you know, fucking fucked around, dude. Came off my ADHD medication. I went too crazy, dude. A little too kooky. Okay?
I gotta get going actually. I'm in Bangkok. I didn't sleep much, but yeah, Destiny, I'll see you back in Miami, man. And hey, thanks for having me on.
Are you guys?
Whoa.
No. Let me ask you a question though. No. Let me ask you a question though. Are you guys friends at all or no? You guys are friends?
I consider him a friend. Destiny doesn't seem to it. Destiny got falsely accused for human trafficking.
I literally consider you a friend. What the?
I would send Destiny if he got accused for human trafficking because I don't think he is a human trafficker, but Destiny would not do the same for me.
Why did somebody say Destiny's wife wants to f Nick Fuentes?
Because apparently my wife to everybody. I guess that's the talk of the online world.
No, wait, really? Your wife, Nick Fuentes?
No, he's a virgin. He's not a degenerate.
No, that's like a whole meme, and it all comes from, you know, because they're in an open
Doesn't that
relationship.
come from like Fuentes' Groiper community? Fuck me.
Come on, man. See, look at that. Look at the actual gay person using gay as an insult. It makes no sense.
It doesn't make any sense. I don't get it.
I'm only half gay, okay? So let's be fair enough.
Oh, you're bi?
Yeah.
Oh, well, okay. Nice to meet you. Well, not nice to meet you, but nice to know.
Why is it nice to know?
Look, man, it's been great, man. It's been great.
Oh,
You
this
know,
is like.
I just want to say at the end of the day, man,
I think
you
I
are
just
a
had it
human
like
being.
on in the
You know, I
background.
told you, bro. Even though you're a little bit up in the brain, it's okay.
I agree. You know what? Listen, even though you're Jewish, I think you're human too. Okay.
What the? Oh hell no!
Okay, that was what a great end. Incredible stuff. Okay, you know, I hate to say it's always entertaining when we watch this stuff, though. It's so funny that Sneeko was talking about how a lot of this stuff provides value, blah, blah, blah. That's pretty much his content. There was nothing but entertainment value just watching them. Like, we basically just watched, like, fucking wrestling, and the fucking heels just got dunked on so hard by Stone Cold Steve Austin, okay?
I want Papa God to pee on my face.
Go ahead and like go to Papa Go's channel if you want to watch the whole thing. The thing's just like it's like fucking mind numbing. It's stupid. It's just like no one's like really even like Destiny knows. It's just like there for content.
A few months ago, I watched what had to be one of the
Problem is like people like take it like seriously. These guys don't really take it serious. It's all a grift.
This is a vigilante predator hunter group that was busting the person they were investigating in public, and this goes completely Insano style. It becomes cartoonish. It's almost like a Benny Hill chase scene here. I couldn't believe what was unfolding in front of me.
I am currently currently looking for my fiber.
Your what?
Fiber.
Fiber?
Yeah, 'cause I gotta poop.
You gotta poop?
I'm constipated. I've been constipated.
Yeah?
Yeah.
This is a very interesting tactic. This is a high-level maneuver. He is claiming that he's not there at the meat spot for a 13-year-old boy. He's there to get some fiber so he can take a shit. He's been constipated, so he's there for some poop pills. And it doesn't take some galaxy brain genius to put together the puzzle pieces here, connect the dots, and deduce that he is on meth. You know, he's getting loopy
Basically.
off that poopy right now. He is high on meth, which isn't just speculation. At the end of the video, they released their entire investigation, screenshots of all the text messages that were exchanged between this guy and who he thought was a 13-year-old. And meth comes up a lot, even right before meeting. Meth was discussed. And as you can see in the title, he was arrested, and they did pretty much confirm meth was in his system.
Hey man, I can involve the police or we can have a conversation. You want to have a conversation? You want to turn around and talk to me?
So wait, wait.
I can call the cops right now, or we can just have a conversation.
I'm actually really constipated. So can you actually let me get my supplements so I can actually go home so I can poop and actually so I can poop well?
Step one should have been involving the authorities the second you found a real pedophile that was trying to meet up for sex with a 13-year-old and like get them smoking meth or whatever. I don't understand why that wasn't the first thing you did. Luckily,
Bro,
there's
if you guys
spoilers
like
in the
have this
title, so you know
information,
he
just
does
like
get
call the
arrested,
cops
but
and give it to them so they can
not for the
investigate.
reasons of this
Like,
investigation.
I'm like always like
Some
terrified,
crazy
like
shit
they're not
happens
like.
towards the end. Had he involved law enforcement earlier, even from the start, I feel like this could have been far more effective. It seems like the first thing he did when he identified a real pedophile was try and figure out how to monetize it and make a viral video out of it or something. Because he gets like 2 different cameras out. He's got like the fucking Steadicam.
I need to like fucking
set up. He's got like the GTA cinematic angle going on here. So it really feels like the #1 concern was trying to figure out a way to monetize it. He also has like calls to action in the video to subscribe to his channel. He's got the People vs. Pred watermark. This shit is branded out of the wazoo. So it does really feel like the #1 thing he was looking for here was a way of making money off of the bust, which is kind of weird. It is still good that this does lead to an arrest, but I really do wish it was handled with collaboration from the actual authorities.
Can you help me find fiber pills?
I'm always afraid like it's gonna give like a defense attorney like the excuse like they need to like.
My 13-year-old little brother.
Who is that? I don't know who that is.
Also, like, I'm actually like surprised. Well, it wouldn't be entrapment because that's something. I think entrapment is like the police can't specifically entrap you, but I'm wondering if.
Locate fiber pills, and it's like trying to find pirates' buried treasure apparently. But anyway, you can see he's really starting to tweak quite a bit now. Things are getting escalated. The man filming is starting to call the cops, which is something I feel he should have done quite a long time ago. But we're only just beginning.
Hey buddy, is this you?
Can you please?
Why do I have a picture of you? Is this
Why
you?
are you doing this to me?
Is this you? Is this a picture of you?
This guy's tweaking hard.
What is it?
Why do I have a picture of you?
Oh my god,
Why do I have a picture? Why do I have a picture of your? This guy's here to meet a 13-year-old boy for and to give him crystal meth.
Oh my god!
Negotiations crumble, diplomacy falls, and then
Bro, what the
things
fuck?
really pop the fuck off. So he shows him that he has a picture of this guy's asshole, and then we enter like the DPS check of the raid boss encounter here. So now he's chasing the pedophile around while shouting he's here to meet a 13-year-old boy for sex. The predators start shouting. Everyone in the shopping center is confused and maybe even a little frightened from this sudden explosion of yelling and all of that. And we also get close-ups of the meth molester's head, and it seems like he has a lot of dandruff. Not that that has anything to do with anything at all. It just struck me as, wow, that's a lot of dandruff. So he might want to pick up a bottle of Head and Shoulders on his way back to the poopy pill aisle.
This guy right here is here to meet a 13-year-old boy and to give him crystal meth.
I'm trying to find you. Do you know where the fiber pills are?
Call the cops. This guy's here to meet a 13-year-old boy for. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Don't touch me and don't put your hands in front of my camera, bro. Who the f are you?
Like he just like
The
guy who
here is really coming across like a combative asshole. Obviously, the store employee doesn't know the situation. He's not fucking omniscient. All he sees is two people screaming in his store while one of them has multiple cameras set up like he's out here trying to film a 360-degree music video. So he's just trying to get in the middle of this. And
these like pride hunters, man. Like these guys are fucking idiots.
Take it anywhere else. And for some reason, the Predator Buster is now starting to get mad at this guy who's just doing his fucking job. Like, he's done nothing wrong. He doesn't know what's happening here. He's just trying to de-escalate the situation.
This guy's here to meet a 13-year-old
the fucking thing.
Get in front of my camera again, bro. Because you're not. Get in front of my camera again. You don't have permission to film your camera here. Who the f are you? Who are you? You need to leave. Hey, buddy, get the f out of my way. Get the f out of my way.
Bro, one of these days, it's gonna end in like real violence.
This guy seems like he was closer to fighting the store employee just doing his job than he was to fighting the actual pedophile that he was there to bust. This shit is crazy.
Why? Why are you here to meet a 13-year-old boy?
What I do such a thing?
Then leave. Go home.
Hey, you let me buy my fiber pills.
Oh, your fiber pills?
Where's the fiber?
Like this guy, like he's like losing his shit.
It was starting to wrap itself up. This fucking
I would have to
guy
really
goes
like look into it too.
looking for fiber pills. He goes back to the fucking fiber pill aisle and keeps the whole song and dance going. We're in Act 2 now. It is incomprehensible, the shit that is unfolding here. I can't believe that this actually is a real thing that happened and isn't some like staged, scripted fucking piece of, I don't know, fiction. It's unbelievable.
Why are you here to meet a 13-year-old boy?
Why are you here to harass me?
Why are you here to meet a 13-year-old boy?
Are you trying to prevent me? No, I'm gonna talk.
I'm a weirdo? Why do I have a picture of this?
Bro, you know like the cops can get called on you now for this, like for harassment, right? Like this isn't like fucking
Some of the other people around him start
this vigilante
calling
shit.
him a weirdo,
It's
the guy filming, to which he takes great offense. So he goes over to prove that he's not weird. So he goes and says, if I'm a weirdo, why do I have a picture of his asshole? Checkmate. Regular old Saul Goodman over here defending himself. I can't be weird. I have a picture of his butthole right here. Look at this. He takes his phone around like it's show and tell. He passes it around saying, hey, look, I'm not weird. Look, this is his anus. I don't know what the strategy is there. He could have easily explained, I'm conducting an investigation. This guy was trying to meet up with my 13-year-old brother. That's a lot more easy to understand than like, hey, I'm not weird. This is this guy's ass. Like, I don't know what the thought process was. I think he was so lost and deep in fight mode that he was just trying to like get aggressive with everybody, even just completely innocent people that didn't understand what was happening.
Trying to meet up a little kid. No!
I saw a
Wait.
comment that perfectly described how this part in the parking lot plays out. They said he's acting like he's the 13-year-old boy running away from a pedophile. And that is so accurate. He's running around like hysterically screaming and just going absolutely ballistic. He runs in a circle and then even lays on the ground for a little bit, kind of wiggling around.
Can I just go poop?
Ah! Ah!
Oh my god, it gets even better.
The pedophile is high on meth and operating a vehicle, and it goes about as you'd expect. He immediately peels out and fucking blasts himself like right over like a small little tree and some bushes. It really looked like it was about to take flight. That was some shit out of Need for Speed, honestly. Like, god damn.
I wonder if like the guy filming has any liability for any like damages against that guy. Like, let's say, like,
Hit and run. Call the police. Call the police.
Immediately after vaporizing a tree and destroying that like area of bushes, he peels out once again and manages to hit one of only 2 potential obstacles in the entire fucking parking lot. Someone else's car. He goes by and hits someone else's car. There is literally only 2 cars in this entire fucking parking lot. It is actually more impressive that he managed to hit something. Like, I don't even fathom how he could have fucked up even worse. It's unbelievable.
Just call the police, guys. I got the tags. Call the police. Call the police. Call the police. Call the cops, bro. I got the video. You don't need the video. Just call the cops. Tackle is done.
I always hate that fucking mentality. Hey, someone else call the police. I'm busy recording. No. I'm recording, so someone else call the police.
oh shit, I'm dead. Fuck.
There's only a handful of situations where that
This
makes
thing isn't
sense,
hard.
and that's when there's already a large group there.
And then, like, there's a
Then
bunch of them
having a
over
video
there.
of the
Wow.
situation can
This
be
thing isn't,
helpful
like,
to the
hard. He's
overall thing.
meaty. That's
So you
it.
could have one person
I just
video while
need
someone else is
fucking...
calling
This
the
thing
authorities,
sucks,
but in this
dude.
case, it was just him for the entire thing right up until the very end. He should have been the one to call the police, but didn't. And the Predator makes another inexplicable decision. Instead of leaving, he instead pulls up to the front of the store he just ran away screaming from and parks it. He just drops that shit right in front of the store he just left, and then gets out to try and run back into the store, which I don't understand at all. He's treating it like this was some kind of safe zone or something. And as he gets out of the car and tries to run back in the store, he gets tackled by a good Samaritan who had just seen the hit and run and everything that unfolded in the parking lot. So he gets tackled by that guy, and it's like a Goldberg spear. That is a great form textbook tackle. And then the cops do show up to arrest him. The cops go through his things. They find a pipe. They find a lot of stuff. They arrest him for the driving, DUI. They don't seem super interested in the predator catcher's investigation and what he's talking about. They don't really pay too much attention to that. Instead, they arrest him for, of course, the way he was driving the vehicle. Now, I've mentioned this numerous times over the years. I'm not really a fan of vigilante predator hunters for the simple reason that 9 times out of 10, the pedophiles that get caught in these operations don't face any real repercussions other than like a video being made about them. But law enforcement can't use the investigations because they're less than professional, meaning the predator doesn't spend any time in the slammer, they don't go to jail, which allows them to continue preying on children in their communities. Now, I do think there are extenuating circumstances, like for example, EDP. EDP may have not gone to jail, but that video that was made about him by the, fucking Gotham Knights of Predator Catchers did a great service to the whole community because it exposed him for abusing his platform, trying to meet up with children, and even if he didn't go to jail, it still took away his access to more potential victims. So overall, it was a positive thing, though ideal outcome would have been him also going to jail. In this case, the video we just watched, this predator probably would have never went to jail had he not operated the vehicle while high on meth and caused a massive commotion there and hitting multiple things. Had he not been driving that recklessly and high, he probably would have never seen any jail time for the investigation.
Oh my god, I might have to switch to Void just for the overshields.
It's just one of those things where, yes, it is good to expose the predators, but I really wish it was handled in collaboration with law enforcement, so that way not only would they be exposed publicly, they would also face the jail time associated with the crime. But yeah, anyway, this video was wild, and I just kind of wanted to talk about it a little bit today. That's about it. See ya.
Like bringing in like Eldrazi back and Wilderness Channel back, so on. But anyone else that's banned, probably unlikely to get unbanned, just to be on the safe side.
You're not gonna like that you said that. If you even watch this, but I can understand why you said that. Yeah, that DK.
Of course he's not gonna like that setup, but yeah, well, but what is he gonna do about it?
What are you gonna do, bitch?
Threaten to kill me himself? Tell me he's gonna kill my girlfriend?
Do you notice the dishonesty as well? No one ever threatened to kill anyone in my Discord, okay? DK did not threaten to kill anyone, right? All DK said was, I hope someone takes them out. Now, as I say, I'm not saying that's not distasteful, right? But there's a big difference between
There
saying
is.
that and giving
I'm not
actual
exactly a
threats.
Mr. Girl fan either.
No one's issuing a threat. No one's saying, I'm threatening to kill you. I'm threatening to kill this person. Like, it's fucking so dishonest the way it's been reframed in the course of going through this.
You say that he doesn't like you?
Well, yeah,
Like,
that's
you're an asshole?
sure.
Killing people is bad. Don't do it.
I wish I had more things to say about.
Did you fucking see that shit, man?
Well, she's pretty smart and pretty entertaining, so I recommend you check it out.
Entertaining is debatable. Smart, yeah, sure.
All right, listen, I gotta go.
I hate feminists, so I can't watch somebody like that.
Oh, okay. All right, I gotta go to the next caller.
All right. You have a good time?
Anyway.
His community is filled with like very maladjusted people, man.
No. It's
Interesting time?
Yeah, but no, it's unpleasant and painful and upsetting to feel that I have an obligation to you to address your concerns, but you're making them at a time when they're going to be used as ammunition against me. And I feel...
Well, then don't fucking address the concerns then. Oh. He's become such a little sensitive fucking bitch, baby. It's unbelievable. Just whinging constantly about fucking bullshit. Just log the fuck off, man. Jesus Christ.
I guess I feel a greater...
By the way,
obligation
like
to
this
you
bridge has been burned like to the fucking
as
ground.
my orbiter than I do to defending myself, but I don't like the
Get the
position
fuck
I'm
out of here. Third time's the charm.
I'm thankful that.
Oh my gosh, so annoying, man.
Decided to take that
And then
on.
you have the little ads like kind of like hitting you here and there too.
Not a lot of people will do that, so.
I have located the prisoners. We are nearly ready for extraction.
Anyway, I think that's it, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to show up for you.
Get the hell out of here.
Jesus Christ, man.
There's talk about making this a Christian nation and people wanting this to be a Christian nation. How do you feel about that?
I feel very, very strongly about it. I mean, I know we are a country of freedom here, but I am very, very strong and for this becoming a Christian nation.
What about former President Trump and, you know, not being terribly religious, not being a church?
Believes in God, you know? So, there you have it.
Do you think President Biden believes in God?
No, not at all. He worships the devil.
So I say, so and that's the difference between the two, is that one worships God and one worships the devil. Do you think this should be a Christian country?
Oh, I do. I do. We were founded on God, and Democrats are taking them away.
Absolutely.
Oh, shh.
Absolutely. You know, the values, you know.
Okay. Give me 1 second, folks. I'm gonna go ahead and play that cutscene. Sorry. I wanted to play the cutscene, but let me go ahead and just play it for you. Sorry about that. This is the cutscene right here that was gonna play.
I'm here. In position.
I have located the prisoners.
It's actually a good cutscene too.
Come with me.
I got spoiled. I was watching an As the Cross video and I saw it. I wish I could have paused it, but it wouldn't let me.
We're trapped.
I thought I had to go up there.
I'm on it. Come on.
Go. Now. We are through. The hatch leads outside. We are safe.
That's all that matters.
Aramis with her stasis abilities.
I warned you.
If you remember from that radio recording, Aramis talking to Mithrax there. And that would be you.
Where's Amanda? Amanda, come in. Amanda. Are you there?
And that's it. Let me just put this off to the side real quick. Yeah, sorry about that. I was trying to shift tab out, but I couldn't like go over to here. I couldn't go over to my second screen. But yeah, Holiday died, man. This is a nice little ship too. Look at this. I want a ship that actually looks like a ship. That's the thing.
Devotion, bravery, sacrifice. Devotion, bravery.
Remember, Zavala knew her.
Sacrifice.
If you remember from the earlier cutscene.
Zavala grieves, and Mithrax is recovering in the infirmary. How do you want to proceed?
Easy.
We have to regroup. Bury Amanda. And put her killers in the ground.
They'll be expecting you.
Good.
Think with your head, not your heart. Grief is poor counsel.
And yours is better?
Oh, goddamn, man.
Make arrangements for Amanda. The Guardian and I will handle it from here.
If that's your wish.
It is.
Their brother and sister.
I know you want it too. Vengeance. You'll be the first to know when it's time.
Damn. How many lines did Lance Reddick record? He probably recorded this entire season. He might have recorded like next season too. Remember, that's Crow Udrasov, if I pronounce the name. That's and Marisov, the queen, is his older sister. So Holiday's dead. She might be revived as a guardian. Damn, this man has gone through so much. Also, I just realized the sound on this. So now I was wondering why he sounded so low. So there you go, chat. Amanda was like everyone's like one of everyone's like favorite one of people's favorite characters. Where is he's in the infirmary. Is this like a new Sparrow or something?
I have lived for centuries upon centuries, Guardian. Though death has not lost its sting, it is a ritual whose movements are familiar to me. It has become easier to bear. But seeing loss twist the faces of those around me, Zavala, my brother.
Also, just keep in mind too, people were theorizing about this too. If she does come back as a guardian, she won't have any memories. Remember, of her being Amanda. Don't get me wrong. She can. They can like tell her who she is, and she can like slowly start remembering. Because I don't think you lose your memories completely. What's been talked about online was you gain impressions of what it was. So like an example that was used is, for example, let's say you like hamburgers. And you like your hamburgers cooked a certain way with certain toppings. Like I like my hamburgers very simple: bun, meat. I prefer the meat well done, and with pickles, onions, and ketchup, and maybe a little mustard. That's it. I don't need anything else on it too. So let's say I get revived as a guardian. I come back, right? I come back as a guardian. I won't really have any memories of this too. But ever order a hamburger, I'll probably order the same, like those impressions will still be in my mind. I'll know that I like this. Or if I ever taste a hamburger and it has like a bunch of other stuff, I'll be like, oh, I don't really like this. So how about we just try this? And once I find that combination, like, oh, but it's like my past self. So you're revived, you're essentially a new person. That's why they have that rule. Like it's a fool. That's why that rule. Like you don't look for your past. It's like 500, 600 years, I think, in the future from when the Golden Age happened, and most of the Guardians are actually from around that time period, around that Golden Age. So it's like a fool's errand. There's like no record. There was a collapse. There's no record. It's a fool's errand to go look for yourself because where are you gonna start out? You don't even have like a name. Like unlike Amanda, when she was revived, remember the cutscene from Season of Seraph? You saw her die. Like she died in that lab, right? She's a skeleton. She gets revived by her ghost. She comes back to life. She sees the name tag. Oh, my name is Amanda Bray. I'm a Bray. And she has all that equipment there. I'm assuming there's personnel files. She can recoup all that stuff, right? Clovis Bray's there. The Stranger's there. Remember, the Stranger's not a guardian. The Exo Stranger is her sister, Elsie, and then they tell her all these things and she can slowly start remembering. But for almost every other guardian, you don't have that sort of information in front of you, so you don't know who you are. You are. So it's a good chance that like you could have been a bad person back in the day during the Golden Age, but now that you're revived as a guardian for whatever reason, because we don't know what the parameters are of becoming a guardian, right? You just become a guardian. So now you're just, you're just like this person. That's actually a good roll. It's the Focus Fury, not so much.
Far more would have died. Amanda knew this, as did you. You were not her protector.
I know that this is true. But this loss, it is my failure.
No, Ms. Raxkel. You dishonor Holiday's memory.
Oh, I mean His honor. She sacrificed herself so that I could live. It is a great guilt.
Her death was no sacrifice. Holiday died for her own convictions, not ours.
Amanda could not be counseled otherwise, nor would she have been. This was her choice, and we must remember it with respect.
Her death brings an emptiness. Commanders of honor, the Crow, they feel her loss greatly.
Holiday did not die for your grief.
The Empress is indelicate. That is her grief. And this is mine. As leaders, we feel loss too often. I will not tell you not to mourn. Bear your sorrow, Mithrax. But set aside your guilt. Let her memory inspire. Let her conviction light our way.
Well said, Queen of the Awoken. Cabal carve our tusks with our victories, and they are recounted at our funeral rites. Holiday's victories will be remembered always.
The Queen's not wrong. They're basically telling you. Was that on Neomuna? Oh yeah, I was there for sidearms. I think. Do I have? Is there like a vault here? No, right. We'll go back to the helm. Bows or sniper rifles? Okay. I kind of want to see what. I don't really care. Ooh, Eye of Osiris. That looks good. This thing looks fucking great too, by the way. Fire Forget. Trinity Ghoul. Alright, let's go to the tower. Let me get some. We'll just run some Defiant Battlegrounds too. Yeah, the roll on that is on the Hero's Burden. I thought it had Repulsor Brace. It is Feeding Frenzy, destabilizing rounds. Every type now seems to have like this. Like some sort of damage perk that does something else. This isn't bad. I was looking for something. There's like two schools of thoughts on this too. It just depends on like the build you have. We're gonna go to Neomuna and we're just gonna go and just do them farm. I really want to farm out that pulse rifle. Okay. Glaive, got a sword, got a void weapon. Damn, I got no enhancement cores. Where is the... Where's my sidearm? Let me guess. It's... At least get one. Yep. Okay, I gotta go to dim real quick. Hold on.
I thought that's what we built the country on. Was my impression, but obviously things got twisted along the way. It's pretty disheartening to see what's going on. So many people are unaware of the just general challenges in life, what's going on behind the scenes on the bad side.
There's a lot of people that are worshiping the extreme opposite. We see it all around us. The evil. I mean, look, it's October. There's demonic symbols everywhere, and it's gently been worked into a holiday that is promoted.
You come to this country, accept our beliefs, accept what we are, accept who we are, or don't come. And that's not to be mean, it's just to say, don't come here and try to change our country to your beliefs. That's what I see them trying to do. You're trying to force something down our throat that we don't want. We'll welcome you here. We'll welcome you with open arms. Come here and embrace America, but don't try to make America the Middle East.
Okay, what's the symbol for a tank?
I don't like that. I don't approve of that.
In what way do you mean America, the Middle East? Because
they want to embrace Islam and make that more mainstream. They have a right, like I said, they have a right to their language. Anybody, it's not just Islamic. It's any religion. If you want to come here and practice it, you have that right. There's mosques. There's different things. But don't try to say that the country that was founded on Judeo-Christian beliefs can't believe those beliefs.
And I don't care what religion you are, because if we unite and come together as all in one, they'll find the true God.
you know, let's say I'm a Jewish dad and I send my Jewish daughter to school and she's made to pray to somebody else's God. Do you see that as constitutional?
If I was the father and I didn't want her to pray to somebody else's God, I would take her out of that school.
But what if it's a public school?
And I would take her out of the public school.
And then what are his options?
Homeschool.
So if you don't believe in Jesus, homeschooling is probably better?
It's better. Why don't people believe in Jesus?
Yeah. See, bro, so why do people like you? You seem pretty normal to me. You're having a normal conversation. Oh, what's your opinion on Andrew Tate?
Loud.
Bro, you had me, bro. I really, really liked you until you said that, bro. Why would he need anyone? He's hot, he has money, he's rich, he has clout, he has power.
Dog. Why would Andrew Tate someone? Didn't you know he's a powerful male? Have you considered the fact that he's an influential man? Why would he? This makes no sense.
Oh yeah.
Do you think that hot people that are ripped with money and power don't ever people or traffic people?
Okay, I'll explain to you what he did. He basically did OnlyFans before OnlyFans. Okay.
No, I think what he did was he got women to fall in love with him. Then he flew them out to Romania, and then he had them work like 15.
Gargling Vosh. Yeah. So to be clear, I'm pretty sure Aiden Ross knows, and he just doesn't care. And in fact, he kind of likes it. Like. We act like that's so shocking, but like, yeah, obviously, considering the fact that it's pretty common, it's not at all unlikely that like the far stage of misogynist advocacy would just be like, yeah, okay, well, I don't really care that he does those things. And
fair enough.
Aiden Ross obviously doesn't give a, but he also has to like gargle Tate's balls, so he has to be like, how could somebody as handsome and gorgeous and well hung?
I mean, I would respect him more if he just fucking said that shit. You know what I mean?
How could he, you know?
Hour shifts, and then he stole money from them while he had them work in the basement of his
Thank God.
I knew Aiden was always stupid, but where does this venom come from? Dog. Aiden got banned from Twitch and immediately spent like a whole stream on Kick hanging out with Nazis. He was watching like sing-alongs and calling Nick Fuentes. He's a horrible human being. In addition to being like Aiden Ross unironically would have been one of the people featured in that the Nazi video on how like society is burdened by the mentally handicapped, you know? They would have shown a video, they would have like panned in on Aiden Ross with like a 1,000-yard stare laying in a German hospital bed, and they're like, do you, the taxpayer, really want to pay for this? They'd show him like failing to wipe his ass, or like he'd be like trying to put his pants on, but he'd kind of like stumble over a bit. They'd be like, And man, we should be happy that Aiden Ross wasn't around back then, because I feel like that would have only made the German eugenics program that much stronger. People would have seen that, gone, oh my god, I will pay any price to not have to pay for this guy's existence.
Percentage though, and he put them on. So
yeah, but he lied about the percentage he gave them, right? Like he's on video talking about how he would scam them with their taxes to steal money from them. Like,
I mean, he's a businessman. Well,
oh my god!
I mean, listen, it wasn't the bad.
Destiny denouncing Andrew Tate isn't a W. It's the bare minimum of decent Christians do. Well, we're just lucky that no leftist has ever criticized Andrew Tate. Otherwise, out of spite, Destiny would defend Andrew Tate, right?
Well, I mean, you can say that's I agree it is a business. I don't disagree. He's a businessman. He's a good businessman. But the business that he ran was trafficking, right?
I mean, how do you feel about OnlyFans?
I think it's pretty good.
Okay, he was basically doing OnlyFans, signing like basically like these OnlyFans agencies before OnlyFans. You know
Yeah,
what
but
I'm saying?
OnlyFans doesn't
And all
traffic women. I don't. Do you know if OnlyFans is trafficking women?
Well, what does trafficking women exactly mean? Because
Trafficking
you know,
women means that he was using methods of deception by telling women that he was in love with them and wanted to marry them. He was bringing them over to Romania, and then he was using another girlfriend to deceive the women into eventually getting into where they thought that they were still in love with him, but in reality he was just there to capitalize.
This is, oh, I know I said this before. This is, you guys remember when Soygan of Akkad was screeching about Muslim gangs? And then, like, you look into it and it's like, oh, it's like, grooming gangs are a non-legal distinction that mask the fact that the overwhelming majority of predation is just done by, like, British white guys or whatever. But, like, to the extent that grooming gangs actually did exist, to the extent that they actually were a thing, and they were a thing to an extent, you know, this was the main method that they would use, like the lover boy method, where you basically try to woo like emotionally damaged or like neglected or whatever wayward young people, and you're like, hey, you know, well, I really love you, I'll take care of you. And then once you've got them on the hook, once they're dependent, you know, it's like, yeah, okay, over to the, I don't know, Muslim slave mines where they mine up saffron and other exotic spices. I don't know, whatever they do.
And sell their...
Welcome to the world, bro. That's what people do. I've gone played before. I've played girls before. You know, we all do that, bro.
Yeah, I agree.
Welcome to the world, I say, being carted off.
Void and strand shields. Okay, lovely.
Welcome to the world and welcome to prison. I mean, that's why he's in jail in Romania. Like, that's what you do. Yeah, like that's welcome to the world. Yeah, of course.
Jeffrey Epstein, getting arrested on his island, dude, bro.
Where is
wake up,
Arbalest?
Idiot. This stuff happens, like gesturing at all the like crying children. This is reality. Dog. Wake up. You live in the Matrix, where Epstein's Island isn't a thing, but I'm in the real world where it is. So stupid. Man, I know that I say that it's really funny that the people who represent the opposition are all, and I want to be clear, I call a lot of people stupid, but I actually do think that Aiden Ross is like mentally subnormal. I'm trying to think, because I call a lot of people, but I want to be clear, like, but I actually think, like, I do actually think he would have been like committed like 50 or 60 years ago before we shut down all the mental hospitals. Like, he might have actually, you know, like he would try to work a job and he would keep trying to eat the cardboard packaging in the factory, and they would be like, okay,
have about the traveler in their database.
we can't keep doing this.
Records, causal analysis.
We can't keep doing this, Aiden.
There would help us help the traveler.
He suffers from Patrick Star personality disorder. Yeah, I guess his greatest hope would be living in a place with very lax standards, from like Bikini Bottom. I don't know. His family talks about how he went off the deep end because he's just getting too rich off it. Yeah, from what I heard, and I could be wrong on this, because like apparently his family has talked about this. Apparently he's always just been kind of dumb. Well, not kinda. He's pretty dumb. But then he got really rich doing live streaming stuff, and I'm trying to think of like a narrative allegory for this. What am I thinking of right now? Where there's a guy who's like really stupid and mean-spirited, but then they get rich through circumstance, and they get even stupider and more mean-spirited, but they get increasingly.
I gotta use like my actual like WASD.
You know what I mean? There's like a character archetype that he is. Elon? Yeah, but I'm trying to think of... Oh! Aiden Ross! That's right! Yeah. No, I'm trying to think of like a character. It happens a lot in like sitcom comedies, doesn't it? Where like a person... Yeah, like, it's like stand-up... It's like... It's a whole thing where a person like becomes an even more aggressively arrogant... Whatever. Apparently he's just gotten a lot worse and his family doesn't recognize him anymore. And how do you even pull somebody like that back, man? He's like super rich. What he's doing works for him. And also, he's literally too stupid to talk to. I feel like, I don't know, you have to go for like electroshock therapy or something. Like you put a collar on him and you're like, hey, what noise do cows make? He's like, moo. You're like, all right. trafficking bad. He's like, yo, I thought you were one of the good ones, and he gets zapped. And like you do that for a couple decades, and maybe, I don't know. He's a child. Do you think he'll regret this when he's older? He's like 22 or 3 or something, man. Gotta draw that line somewhere. Thank you, the bread boy, for the tier 4 sub. I maintain Tate is a virgin. If you don't have enthusiastic consent, she didn't come. Okay, I will say this. I genuinely feel like, and I know he's not actually a virgin, but I genuinely feel like Tate like resonates incredible virgin energy. And I don't just mean that like in some kind of spiteful, like, oh, he's mean, girls don't like me guys. Because of course, plenty of girls like me guys. I don't mean it like that. I mean, it's one thing.
I don't
to see
understand
his, like,
what. Oh, it's that one
or whatever, and he's typed out something about how like he's given up on ice cubes because ice cubes are for the weak or whatever. But if you actually watch a video of Andrew Tate talking like in a live stream, like where he's not scripting or rehearsed or anything, he genuinely comes across as, in my opinion, rather neurotic and insecure, like visibly, not just analytically, not just like, oh, of course he's acting this way because he's insecure. No, like he comes across that way, and I genuinely, like, I can't imagine Andrew Tate. Like, I can imagine Aiden Ross because he's just kind of like a just a dumb like just chimpanzee. He'd be like tearing clothing off. He'd like, I don't know, throw a lamp against the wall.
So I should start at that
his
checkpoint.
arms are spazzing out. I have no idea, but that's more of a, I don't know. That's like an infinite monkeys with typewriter situation. You know, he's got to find the hole eventually. I don't know about Tate, man. It's really weird. These people make me uncomfortable. But not gonna lie, it's very strange. Imagine getting by a living Wojak. Oh, hanging doggy, and you look behind you and you just see you just see the Andrew Tate Wojak, the one with where he's chinless, because he is.
Oh my god, dude.
Yeah, this one.
So you have to. These things like just like drift like crazy, man.
Built like a Bob's Burgers characters. Yeah, he kind of is.
So you gotta take it
We
off.
have that as an emote. I feel like we kind of have to have that as an emote. Did you see him say he doesn't have cancer? Andrew Tate's Twitter account is controlled by an unknown entity. We don't actually know who's controlling his Twitter account. It's not Tate, because Tate's in jail. It's probably somebody that Tate gave control of the app to, but whether it's his manager or if they have direct communication with him, it's impossible to say. I don't know.
Okay, guys. So listen, I was scrolling through TikTok and I came across this it was interesting. I don't know, Pearl talking about some kind of an interaction she had with a childhood friend. And apparently it has to do with her weight and like, oh, I tried to give her advice, blah, blah, blah. I don't know, but, you know, Pearl's getting...
I gotta hit that.
Now, it's easy to dunk on Pearl at this point. She's now a lolcow meme after interacting with Destiny, but we're gonna give her the benefit of the doubt. We're gonna see what she has to say.
I will say, like, a lot of these people, like, when they interact with Destiny,
and then we have a response from
their intelligence like comes through and is like,
let's see what we got here.
I knew.
Right, hold on.
Another funny story. A girl I knew.
Do you think it's actually gonna be a funny story though? There's a question.
Was saying
God
how
bless
bad
him
of a
for
person
finding
I
this
was
stuff,
and how
man.
mean I was for saying my comments about fat women. I said something along the lines, don't remember word for word, but
oh, is it like one of these videos?
I understand why men leave.
Like,
If you get
bro,
So here's the thing, right? Pearl doesn't have any nuanced takes, and she doesn't try to have like educated takes. Like, I'm gonna sit here right now and tell you, whether you're a woman or a man, if you gain weight in a relationship, it could be a strain on your relationship, right? Especially if you started dating and you weren't as heavy. You know, if you start dating and you weigh 200 pounds and then you gain 40 pounds, you know, that could put a strain on the relationship. And to me, that communicates that you've kind of given up to an extent. You're too comfortable. One of the good things about being in a relationship is getting to be comfortable. You don't have to worry about the chase and the this and the that, and that's cool, but you don't want to get too comfortable. And gaining weight is, I think, part of a greater picture of being overall lower effort for your partner. It's not always that way, right? But it can be like a sign. You know, doing nice things for your partner, you know, maybe getting them flowers or taking them out, or even just doing simple things like saying, I love you, you know, at random times. Oh, you're beautiful, you're handsome. These are are things that add up because it's weird. But when you get in a relationship, sometimes those things fall by the wayside. You don't even realize it. Like, but you call your significant other like attractive less and less, not intentionally, but it just kind of happens. And gaining weight can potentially be part of that. It can communicate that you don't care what you look like anymore because
how frustrating this thing is. This is just for the Pinnacle Award.
So now you hear what I said. What did I say? I said that like you shouldn't be fat. You shouldn't gain weight in a relationship. But I said it in a way that makes sense. It's respectful and it's intelligent. Pearl just says that fat women don't deserve love and they're fat whales. And then when she's pushed on, she's like, well, nobody deserves love. But it's like she's specifically trying to target fat women. And the reason is, if you've listened to Pearl before, and I have painstakingly listened to
yes, we appreciate you for doing that, Papa, too.
She comes from a background where her mother used to like bully her for being fat, which is not funny. And now she kind of projects that onto everybody else. Oftentimes, Pearl will say something really provocative and antagonistic because she wants you to tune into her. She's just having a provocative take so people will tune in. And then after she gets backlash, she'll pretend like she says something reasonable, but she's not saying anything reasonable. Pearl doesn't say reasonable things. Like, she doesn't. She gets dumpstered constantly, and I think that it was really great that she talked to Destiny because it just showed her how ridiculous she is. So,
why do men get married?
I don't know. Love, babies, pussy. Pussy money.
Why? Why do they get married? They want kids a lot of the time.
Sure. Maybe. Probably more women thing, but sure.
They want legacy. They want a good mother for their children.
Sure.
They want someone to be loyal to them. And
sure.
this particular
and women want the same.
individual struggled with her weight, and instead of doing something about it, she blamed it on me.
I feel like that's probably not true.
Now, fast forward a year later.
We'll see what happens.
Pearl's the bad guy.
Yeah, he was bad girl.
He is having trouble getting pregnant.
Okay.
And as you know, fertility is influenced by what you put in your body. Now,
this is true. I want to be very clear. My wife and I are part of the reason we're trying to get healthier is so we can have kids. You know, I read a study that apparently metformin, which is a medication that diabetics take, can make it more, can have increased the likeliness of your baby coming out like less healthy. And I take metformin, so I've been trying to lower my blood sugar.
That's actually true. Yeah.
Worrying about weight. I want to lose weight, but my primary focus is reducing my blood sugar, and it's been going well because I want to get off the metformin. Right now, it might be the metformin. It might just be because of being overweight, like has like makes your sperm count wonky. I don't really know. Hey, how's it going, Linda? How you doing? I don't really know, but I'm trying to lose weight. I'm trying to get healthier, and so is my wife. We know this. It's true. You should try not to be fat. All right? And it's difficult for a fat person because if you're fat, that means that you have been eating like shit, and there's probably a reason that you're eating to the detriment of your health, especially if you're older. You know, I'm 32 years old, and as you get older and you eat less and less healthy, you're gonna feel it. You're gonna feel run down. You're gonna feel like shit. You're gonna get heartburn more. Your toes might start to tingle. You might lose sensitivity in your fingers. You might get yeast infections more if you have an increase in like diabetes. Your body feels it, and especially when you're younger, you need to understand that this is going to happen to you, so you should try to get your shit together. But as an older person, like, you're actively feeling the negative impacts of being overweight, and you're still not doing anything about it, and you're the only one that can change it. It is hard. You're addicted to food, and you have to eat, okay? I'm not saying it's harder than like a heroin addiction. I'd rather be addicted to food, okay? But you have a level of an addiction to food, and since you have to eat, it kind of makes it like, it's not like you can just stop and like, okay, I'm going to leave the food over there. No, you have to eat. That's why I always talk about eating, doing proper things. Start small and don't go crazy, right? Go for 20-minute walks every single day. That's a great thing to do. Just go for a 20-minute walk. You know, park in the back of the parking lot. Take the stairs, little stuff. Have vegetables every meal. Really
that's actually what I used to do while at work too.
It'll fill you up and it's more fibrous. And you'll want to eat less shitty food. When you have a bad choice, make a better bad choice. Okay? Make a better bad choice, right? Like I always talk about how you sort of McDonald's get like 3 cheeseburgers, 20-piece nugget, like ice cream, big fries, blah blah blah. Now I get like a crispy chicken sandwich with bacon and cheese. Is it a good choice? No.
Oh my god, I got fucking.
It's been working. I slowly try to.
I got start from.
I got like this granola.
Bro, I wish it just. How far back is it gonna put me? Though I forget.
It's a low carb granola, which is good for me because I'm overweight. Well, not just because I'm overweight, but also because I'm a diabetic. That's what I meant to say. You know, I got this Nix ice cream, which is only like 300 or 400 calories a thing, but it's also very low, very low in sugar. You know, I'm trying to make better choices. Don't
And
drink
like I only
stuff
2
like that.
shots
When
with
you go
this
to the
thing
gym,
too.
find something you like. Maybe you like dancing. Do that. My wife likes to dance jog. Oh, God bless her. I think it's cute. I like to work out. I look like, if you want to start working out, go look into like 5x5 strong lifts by Marketo. These are things that you're gonna want to do. But like, yeah, it has an impact. The thing is that like you don't need to tell people randomly, oh, you shouldn't be so fat. Like, no shit. Let's see how Pearl approached this.
Now, you can shoot the messenger all you want, but if you know where your problem areas are, at least you can improve. But
sure.
The thing is about Western women is we are so delusional and narcissistic that
You certainly are.
nobody can say anything to
Dude,
us.
she like fucking
Here's the
hates
thing.
herself,
It's
dude.
none of your business to tell a fat person that they should lose weight. They should. Let's be clear. And if it's a friend of yours and you're noticing a pattern of gaining weight, you absolutely are within your right to approach them and be like, hey, listen, if they're a close enough friend. But at the end of the day, we shouldn't be dictating each other's choices. It'd be like if I walked up to a guy and I was just like that every day. I'm like, you probably should quit smoking cigarettes. You know what I mean? Like, you don't need to tell random people. It's not a good thing. But like, mind your own business, right? That's one of those things. I'm free to make shitty choices, and I shouldn't, and I'll make better choices. But you don't have to dictate everybody's lives on the street. You're gonna walk up to a random guy, hey, you shouldn't be smoking cigarettes. Hey, you shouldn't be drinking alcohol. Hey, you shouldn't be doing this. They shouldn't be, but like, it's not your place unless you're a close friend or relative to that person. And so I'm going to assume this girl wasn't a close friend to that person. And you also still want to be respectful. You don't want to go like, hey, you fat fuck, stop eating so much. Maybe you do if you're like, if you have like a friend that takes it like that, you know, you guys joke around. But you get my point.
And nothing that I said isn't true. Women are overweight in the West.
Sure, everybody's overweight now. In fact, the world overall is becoming more overweight.
And have slept with a lot of men in the West.
Who cares?
Women are not loyal in the West.
Bro, then move to Dubai and become a Muslim. I don't know what to tell you, woman. I fucking hate this shit, dude. This is like so dumb.
To be less loyal in the West than in the East, and the reason is because they have options, right? I'm going to tell you, young people are very annoying in general, and young people struggle with loyalty. All young people, okay? I think that's true. But generally speaking, if let's say you're like a woman who doesn't, or you're not allowed to work a good job, and you're expected to just make babies and you get married, what are your options? You literally can get abused and you can't walk away, okay? Versus a woman in the West who has the ability to get a better job, much more equal in the West than you are in the East. Let's not let them get too equal, though, okay? Because then we get shit like this. No, I'm just kidding. They have, they can work, so they have more options. It's basically that, and they're not beheld to men, so they don't have to be as loyal. You know, you can translate loyalty is a good thing. Like my wife is very loyal to me, and I'm very loyal to my wife. But if I was shitty to my wife, why would she be loyal to me? And if my wife is shitty to me, why would I be loyal to her? That's really what it boils down to. Men have to bring a little bit more to the table, and that's okay, because if you're a man that can bring more to the table, the bar's on the fucking floor. Try to get like a decent job, or sometimes not even a decent, just like get a job that you're committing to. And treat women with respect, and it's not, you know, it's the bar's a little bit on the floor, guys. Okay, that's what it comes down to. Women have more options, and that's a good thing. Okay, and as a man, you should think it's a good thing too, because like, why do you want to be in a relationship where you roll over your partner? You're not going to respect that person. Like, I wouldn't respect a woman who I just like roll over. Like, just like I like that my wife gives me pushback. I like that my wife will give me shit. My wife, I'm a man. My wife lets me be a man. I make a lot of the decisions, but when she doesn't like a decision I make, my wife pushes me back. I like that. Like, why wouldn't you like that? My wife is an adult, but like, nowadays we infantilize women and treat them like they can't make any decisions. And then this is how every interaction, whether it's like physical or sexual or just this is how women are. Like, oh, and you're supposed to just know everything as a man. I don't know everything as a man. What the fuck am I, like a mind reader? You know what my wife does? If I do something she doesn't like, she fucking says stop it. Good. That's what I want. She's a fucking grown woman. She gives me pushback. That's what we need in women. Okay, as a man, I want the right to be a fucking moron. I'm not even kidding. I want to be able to say shit that I feel and then I think, and I want to speak sometimes ignorantly. Like, I don't want to be ignorant, but I want to just speak my mind. And when you date somebody who doesn't give you pushback, when you say something ignorant and she doesn't like, you say something ignorant, they don't push you back, how do you know that you've crossed a line? Meanwhile, I'll say some dumbass shit, I was like, you have to stop. It's like, okay, cool. And that happens backwards the other way too. But like, why would you want to date a woman who just takes it? You're never going to respect that person. You're not going to respect somebody you don't see as your equal. That's not a productive long-term relationship. You know, and you don't want a woman who pushes back on everything and is like a bitch, but like, you know, you want to find somebody you're compatible with, and that person will advocate for themselves so that you don't always have to feel like walking on eggshells, you know?
And women are not submissive in the West.
Okay.
And we can either take notes and look at the cultures that have the best outcomes.
That's our culture.
That is our culture. Yeah, I was like, what are you fucking talking about? That's Western culture, dude. As like problematic as like a lot of people talk about like the U.S., Canada, and like most Western democracies,
I don't know if you know what this is, bro.
our outcomes, generally speaking, are actually pretty high.
Number two,
across the board. Could it be better? Yeah, absolutely.
Outcomes. They have better quality of life. They have better income equality. Even though they're not perfect, they have better healthcare outcomes. They have better everythings. So when you say, look at the better, what's an good outcome?
Don't like listen to her, man. She's so fucking dumb, dude.
The better outcome is like, well, they stay married longer. That's a good outcome. We should work on that in the West. But the problem is that like the reason they achieve that is because women don't get equal rights, so they don't get to be happy. They don't get to be as happy as the men. So I like the society where we are a little bit more emotionally intelligent because we have to care about women. It's that simple, because they have the ability to walk away in a lot of cases. Better outcomes. We're doing better. Like we're doing better here. You wouldn't be able to do what you do in an Eastern country. So that actually, now that I think about it, you know what? We should that is a better outcome, because then she wouldn't be on fucking social media talking like an idiot.
Or we can be delusional and narcissistic and just think our way is the best
Unironically
way.
too,
You
that's
know,
the
take
thing
your
too.
pick.
In those societies that she like
I'm just a
praises,
messenger.
she would not be able to do what she
I like to
did.
look at the data of like who's happier, and I'm chilling. I'm happy here. Rather not live in an Eastern country, especially since Western countries are always taking their oil. All right, so let's see what the response from the friend is.
Particular individual struggled with her weight, and instead of doing something about it, she blamed it on me.
I wonder what that means. Like, what does it mean to blame it on somebody?
Hi, she's talking about me.
Like, is it that she was just bullying her? There's a difference between blaming it and bullying somebody.
So Hannah and I were friends.
Hannah? Montana? Holy fuck. Her name is Hannah? Oh, it doesn't really match. I thought her name would be something else. I don't know. Hannah?
2002, pre-K, until last year when I stopped being friends with her.
Oh, wow. They stopped being friends. Well, then I guess if Pearl's her friend, she has the ability to say, like, hey, if she really feels like it. But I wonder how she approached the topic of her being overweight.
Show you pics. So that was 2005.
Which one is Pearl? The one on the left, I guess.
And this was in
Pearl's in the bottom. Okay.
2016, when we lived together.
Okay.
So in the beginning of her video, she's talking about our last conversation we had a year ago in March, where I confronted her about talking about women's bodies and their weight.
Okay. So what actually seems to what we're gonna get at is that like Pearl didn't. She probably didn't blame her health on her. Pearl was saying provocative shit like fat women are whales and they don't deserve love. And this girl's like, yo, that's.
I've always
really
said like,
shitty.
listen, you shouldn't be overweight. There's like too many like problems with like being overweight. We don't all work on farms and do like manual labor. Like, I'm sorry. Like,
And she decided that this
I'm okay
person
with
was
body
just a victim
positivity.
of
If you want to be
her or something.
overweight, Godspeed to you.
And
I hope you got good
all
health
that
insurance in the United
Google
States,
bird
but you
shit she
shouldn't
talks
be.
about.
There's like
and I was like, are you okay? Are you okay? And
there's
no,
like
she
too many
didn't
like
defend
problems
at
with it.
all. So I was like,
And you
okay,
should
all
try
right,
everything
we're
you can to
done.
like
I'm
lose as
sorry.
much
I'm
weight as
sorry.
possible.
Hey, that's a queen right there. Setting relationship boundaries is a very positive thing to do.
Not sorry, just kidding. And I still get videos of hers sent to me from people in high school I haven't talked to in forever, being like, is this your friend? Do you defend that? And I have to be like, no, cut her off a year ago. And she even came to know my friend group here in Michigan when I was still in college, and even tried to date two of them. It didn't work out. So
But yeah, I don't think that Pearl's not dateable. I find it so interesting because like she's not dateable. Nobody wants to date. You'd think that as this incredibly submissive woman that makes a lot of money or something, that she would have a boyfriend. But she can't get anybody to. I couldn't imagine. Because I watched so much Pearl content. Like literally just look up Papa Gut, like just Pearl things, and like I've seen so much of it because this is like the job I've decided to do. Watch fucking idiots all day. bro, it is my brain melts listening to her speak. I couldn't imagine. There's something what people have to understand is that men obviously like to fuck, but men also do enjoy, whether you realize this or not, men do enjoy conversation.
True.
They enjoy the ability to interact with people, with women, and talk to them.
Dude, I've talked to like some women who's just like, I would easily have sex with you, but like,
and you just can't have one with her. I don't like, it's impossible. She doesn't really listen. She waits to speak. It's insufferable. And then she just says like the hottest take that she can come up with in her fucking brain. And it's just like, dude, this is mind numbing. It makes me want to light myself on fire. Like, how am I gonna, like, what is a conversation like with Pearl? You know, like, what does that look like? I couldn't imagine it's anything that's like particularly productive, you know?
They'll send stuff to me and I watch it because I just want to see what bullshit she has to say next. And I have a theory about this. Not that it's literally any excuse that she's doing this, because what she is doing, I can't even put into words how disgusting it is. But I've known her since 2002. I do not think she thinks that way. If she does, fuck her all over again. I don't care.
No, I don't know. It's hard to tell because she's so empty up there. I think that she's found a way to make money and that she just says things that'll make her money. Like the bar's on the floor for Pearl because she's just a woman in the manosphere, so she's just a pick-me. So she just has to like go, huh. You know, nobody respects her in the manosphere either. Look at any of her podcasts. Everybody rolls over her. Nobody like listens to her. They speak over her constantly.
Could be like a kink too. Right, like, I've seen the videos of like her like talk about her mother. Like she went through some serious like verbal abuse as a kid. Like
she's like run through the manosphere and they no longer want to
it
listen
like
to her
clearly affected her from like and her like worldview.
She's gonna be talking
and like
about how
there's
she
like
never
some
wanted to do this and she
self-loathing
started
there
listening
too.
to,
Like
her apology tour. So.
But I don't think she does. I think she does it to rev people up and to get more views and to get more money. So all that to say, I'm curious to see once she does find a husband and find a man, is she going to keep this act up? Because is she going to find somebody that shares these exact views with her? Or
I hope so, because that would be funny as fuck for her to just get like, you know, it's not funny. But dating a guy in the way that Pearl advocates for it is a guy who wants to, is probably abusive. No offense. But manosphere ideology is abusive. I'm not saying that relationships where like the woman stays home and stuff and the man goes to work is inherently abusive, because it's not. It's really not. Like, that is perfectly fine if you want to do that. But the way that she talks about women and like the way that she like acts like women are just like complete fucking morons, like that profound lack of respect, that disrespect leads to abuse. I genuinely think it does. And being in a relationship for like 40 years, because that's what, like, imagine you get married for 40 years. Imagine every single day you have a guy who just, you're not gonna look at the girl as an equal, and you're gonna think less and less of them. You're gonna resent them more and more, and it's just gonna lead to like negative outcomes. So,
or is she gonna meet someone and be like, okay, I don't actually think this way? Anyway, off topic. That last part of her video, she says, and now a year later, this girl is trying to get pregnant and she can't. And weight affects fertility.
Sure it does.
I didn't know I was trying to get pregnant.
Okay, well, there you go. She's not even trying to get pregnant.
Not. Now, when I last talked to her a year ago, that was my plan, to get pregnant this year with my husband. So I don't know if she has seen my page from like her siblings' accounts, because I don't follow her on anything and I'm private, but I still follow her siblings, and sees that I'm not pregnant yet, so she's assuming that I'm too fat to get pregnant. And like,
this woman's not even like really that big, so.
How rude, because we really supported each other, like going through a weight loss journey together.
True. Pearl was looking a little chunky in those pictures, which is fine. Nothing wrong with a little chunk, you know.
I've also seen some clips of her YouTube channel, and she literally lies. She makes up stories or does not tell the truth about her family.
Oh, yeah.
So all this to say, she was lying about that whole story to get you revved up about her stupid ass point that she was trying to make. So don't believe her. She's lying. And girls, if you find a good man, funny. He will not leave you if you gain weight, okay?
Yeah, sure. You might gain a little bit of weight in a relationship if you're happy. But again, overall, I talked about the weight loss thing. And, you know, try not to gain too much weight in a relationship, because it can show that you're no longer checked in or you don't care as much. So anyway, yeah.
That is true.
Obviously, I mean, I didn't expect anything more of Pearl making up stories to generate outrage. So, you know.
And for like nothing else, man, you shouldn't just like gain weight for the sake of like gaining weight. As ridiculous as this song is, it has a good tune to it. I'm sorry, that piano's good.
He'll get a strike. It's probably for a video that he let run unfiltered. Generally, you can get away with saying edgier stuff or talking about edgier things on the internet. But when you just platform really, really criminal ideas and really, really heavy misinformation, no shit, the private platform is going to slap you on the wrist, dumbass. But of course, I just wanted to make that point here. Going back to it, just whittling back a few minutes, obviously Sneako is kind of...
You can tell that some of these videos I've actually like watched a little bit too.
And we're just going to leave it at that, okay? Just another example of how the man keeps catching L. Now, when we're talking about bot behavior, ladies and gentlemen, I think nothing screams bot to me than Sneako failing to actually research. Now, in this clip with Destiny, Sneako is actually talking about the ideas of wearing seatbelts and how sometimes wearing a seatbelt can actually be more dangerous than not wearing one. Again, this is heavy misinformation. If you're driving a car, always wear your seatbelt. But we'll get into exactly what the logic is on Sneako then. Let's watch this clip.
You can get into a collision, and if you have a seatbelt on, then you can get trapped in the car and the car can catch on fire. But sometimes if you're not wearing a seatbelt, there's instances where people have like literally flown out the windshield because they weren't wearing a seatbelt and they survived. But a seatbelt can trap you in there.
What do you think is more common?
I mean, I don't know what's more common, but it's uncomfortable and it's just...
Do you lock your car? Do you lock your car at night?
I think I'll be fine.
I'm not asking if you're fine. I'm asking you to use your brain. Do you lock your car at night?
Yeah.
Why? You're not guaranteed to get robbed. In fact, probably most likely you won't.
Yeah, but it takes 1 second and it doesn't make me uncomfortable to lock my car. Wearing a seatbelt makes me uncomfortable.
What a pussy! Oh, the seatbelt makes me uncomfortable. This is the alpha man that people were hyping up.
By the way, they actually make things for that too.
It makes you drive a little uncomfortable. Now, of course, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to wearing seatbelts, I'm not, I wouldn't consider myself the manliest man in the world, but wearing a seatbelt never made me feel weird. Now, of course, what Sneako is talking about is a very rare exception of sometimes when God doesn't want you to die, you'll fly out your window, you might get injured a little bit, but maybe you'll survive. He's talking about some real survivorship bias levels of thinking. These are very, very, very anecdotal situations where you could survive, but generally, what's more common is in a head-on collision, if you're not wearing your seatbelt, chances are you die a lot. You have a higher chance of dying. Now, how do I know this? Well, I'm going to do what Sneako refuses to do. I'm going to look up the actual information from the National Highway Transport Safety Administration, okay? A government
Generally too. By the way, like people like Sneako and like when you show them stuff like this, oh, why should I trust it?
Of course, they even got formulas for this.
What?
So whip out the old TI-83 real quick. They actually have, hard, full statistics for what happens to you when it comes to wearing your seatbelt, right? Now, of course, just to make it a little bit easier, there's places that have parsed this information that is much more readable for bots. So I'm going to show this real quick, okay? An estimated 14,955 lives were saved in 2017 by wearing a seatbelt. Vehicle occupants are 30 times more likely to be ejected during a car accident if not wearing a seatbelt. This statistic becomes more alarming when you realize that most ejection accidents are fatal. In fact, about 3/4 of people ejected in a crash die. Now, again, Sneako is referring to the 25% of people that don't die. He's also not referring to the very small percentage of people that don't probably end up paralyzed from the waist down after they've been in that impact. Again, this is somebody that's looking at this statistic right here, seatbelt usage by state. So for instance, he's looking at it, right, like in California, 96% of people use their seatbelts. In fact, nationwide, 90% as of 2017 were wearing the seatbelt. See, Sneako looks at this and thinks, this is probably just blue.
They're all bots. The 90%, they're all bots.
I'm going to be part of the 10% red pill canceled people that are going against the grain. See, Sneako's brain level and his thinking pretty much relies on this aspect, okay? As long as you got that blue hair, you're part of the big majority majority, the bots, if you will, the SJWs, the crazy feminists, and whatever you say, he has to be the exact counterculture of, because as we saw earlier in his community, they will not accept any aspect of him deciding to critically think for himself. He has to be completely insane, conspiracy brain, all the way to the very end of the limit. He can't find a way out of it. Now, the only level of actual critical thinking that he might have done is probably when he defended Cuties. Now, of course, if you want some context, Cuties is a weird movie released by Netflix, or not released, but, well, actually released, but they never had anything to film it. It was an independent movie that they bought the rights to distribute. And the movie
Which is
was
most of
effectively
Netflix's
about little
properties.
girls, right? The movie actually sexualized little girls.
It does sexualize them too. It didn't need the twerking though.
The mainstream masses. Now, obviously, the movie,
I've actually talked about like Cuties before too. It didn't need to do what it did.
In fact, even in the movie,
What it really can't believe I'm talking about Cuties now in 2023. What it really just needed to do was just to show like how like social media force like basically like trains young girls to like grow up and not let them be kids. And they could have done that with like the makeup stuff too. They could have put them in like situations where like they're expected to like be older than what they are too, and gives them like unrealistic expectations of what being like a woman in the 21st century really is. They could have done that too, but they didn't. But it didn't. And I don't know if like I have to see like old interviews from like the director. I don't know if the director ever said like she didn't intend it to be that way, or was meant to be like salacious like that. I just don't know off the like the top of my head, but yeah, they just didn't need to like go as far as they did. That's the only thing.
On my back again.
So yeah, we'll go back to Mudar here.
TikTok and danced around, and then they participated in like the climax in the movie. Throughout the movie, there was always juxtaposing situations where she was getting punished, or there was like clashes of hyper-conservative society kind of, you know, cutting this thing. And she was the girl, the main character, was launched in the middle of it. Now, of course, the general response is, no matter what the movie's intention and message were, they still sexualize little children on camera for everyone to watch in a movie. So again, whatever point the movie was trying to make is null and void because they violated their own rules in doing so. Again, let's watch Sneako's defense over here. This is a much younger Sneako. Let's listen to this.
Okay, if I ever wanted to get canceled, this is the video. I saw Cuties last night, and it was pretty good. It's a pretty good movie. I went in ready to hate like everybody else. I saw the cover, and I got clickbaited. So did you. You got clickbaited. This one of the
I didn't really understand like
well.
I didn't understand like the Netflix like advertising for it. They should. I don't know. Maybe they thought like they were trying to like do something. I just didn't like understand like the marketing behind it too. They should have just, I don't know. It kind of did disservice to like what the movie was like trying to do too. That's sort of like the big thing about it as well. I need a precision weapon. Let me get this thing out. I honestly hate this one because it takes the longest. You give me a couple of red bars. Okay. Two. Man, these guys are so much meatier, man. Oh, these threshers. The movie could have been good too. That's the problem. But it was just like the sexualization, like the kid just like took away from like, it's like Mutahar said, like the message of the movie. And maybe that was like the point I was making, but she didn't have to like go that far, and it just kind of like made the movie very decisive, really for like no reason whatsoever too. That's the issue too. She didn't have to like do that, and I felt like she just did it for like the clicks, you know? Just like, oh, let me go ahead and like make this. Let's go back here. Oh, let's go back to Sneako.
Oh god, that actually hurts to hear. It's gonna age well. Jesus Christ.
Outrage is really strong, so saying something like
Yeah,
this,
the movie just didn't have to like go that far though. That's the thing too.
Tweeted like cuties is clickbait. This was a pretty good movie, and everybody replying like, "I'm following you."
Movie wasn't like that good to be honest. The movie just wasn't that good. I'm not talking about like the sexualization of like actual children in the movie.
I'm gonna paraphrase it.
It's just
basically what I just said a minute ago about the movie. It has juxtapositions, and obviously the message of the filmmaker was that this sexualization of children is bad on social media, so on and so forth. Again, it all gets completely dissolved and thrown out in the water when just a little bit of extra critical thinking will let you know that the movie in fact still sexualized children. So again, the whole idea of defending this movie you can't do because the movie broke its own rules. It literally produced what I would consider to be soft-core material for just the weirdest types of people to consume off of a mainstream platform. It's an objectively terrible way to handle this message, and it could have been done in a much safer fashion. But again, this is a prime example of what's.
Now, I'm not one of those people that thinks like art needs to be safe too, but if like the message of the movie was that like our children are overly sexualized, and then you're doing the movie, like you understand like the issue people have.
Basically make a viral clip. If it's one thing that you can't blame Sneako for is he knows the algorithm, he knows how to get people talking about it. What Sneako doesn't realize is not all attention is ultimately good attention. See, in his mind, he thinks that the more people that talk about him, whether it be negative or positive, it'll all get flown into his creativity kit 2.0.
At this point, he's the quote-unquote lol cow.
It's not a sustainable business model. Sneako currently has lost his million-plus YouTube channel and currently resides to about 200,000 followers.
There's a Vex Strike Force. Okay.
He doesn't get bad viewership. A month ago, he made a video where he got like 16K views. All right, definitely a big drop off from what he used to have. But if we're looking through his channel nowadays, he is getting around 59,000 views, 65,000, 135,000 for some videos. So it's not crazy viewership, but I'm sure it's enough for him to survive off. Again, he has to really hope this number stays and rises, otherwise his career and its future might just taper off into complete irrelevance. I think what's more sadder in this situation, and even sadder than Sneako basically looking at an IQ test, looking at 95 and taking it to heart, given the fact that IQ tests really don't mean a whole heck of a lot in my opinion. But what's really sad about this situation, one of the things that kind of made me feel really bad for him was how this entire rabbit hole has kind of reflected on him. Forget losing your channels, and whatnot. And I'm sure that he'll like to say the canceled life is great because right now he's in Dubai, he's on like some yachts or whatever. I don't know how sustainable that is once Andrew Tate falls into further irrelevancy, and so will Sneako. Because if it's one thing,
A lot of the manosphere stuff is just not like, it's not hitting like it used to, you know what I mean? It's still prevalent, but it's not like hitting. And I think people are starting to see like the flaw in it too, because like the thought leaders are all going down.
He's going to take this man entirely seriously. But one of the things that hurts me is how his own family doesn't even want to be around him.
It's like a China buffet near me and they were closed. So I was pissed off.
That's what Jews usually eat on Christmas, Chinese place. Do you know that this is the first year I'm not going home for Christmas? They don't, I have blue hair, woke family, kind of like you, and they don't mess with public policy at all.
I mean, it doesn't take a blue-haired people that don't want to fuck with your politics. Like,
It's never got to the point where I've been like uninvited to Christmas.
Now, of course, you know it's gotten too far when even your family members don't want to have you over for a holiday because you can't stop talking about how evil the blue-haired feminazis are. Ladies and gentlemen, at this point, how long does it take for you to actually log off the internet and look at the world around you and think, maybe I'm the goddamn idiot? But of course, then again, Sneako is so embroiled in this rabbit hole that he's in. And it's why I was researching the whole manosphere, right? Like, once you get into these rabbit holes, it's incredibly difficult to get out. Because in Sneako's mind, he genuinely believes the shit that he says. He genuinely believes that everyone is a bot. The slightest criticism of him is just the Matrix attacking him and canceling him. And once you started thinking like that, getting out of that line of logic is incredibly difficult. And the only reason Sneako stands out to me is compared to the other people that fall down this rabbit hole, he genuinely has the ability to critically think. You know, people like Aiden Ross are complete buffoons. People like Sneako might be buffoons, but they clearly have the ability, or at least they showed the ability to rationally think about situations, at least early on in their lives. And that's why it's
There's no fucking
looking at it now. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, one thing to also say is Sneako is successful because no matter how you want to cut it, the more I've researched this, people like Sneako and the Tates and so on and so forth are the only people that are trying to speak to a very to a group of young guys, maybe gals as well too, that are falling into like this MG Tao incel pipeline. And for a lot of them, they really don't have leadership. You know, there's really no father figure in this situation. And I guess for me, it's easy to look at it from the outside looking in because I do have a great relationship with my dad and I was raised right. But generally for these people,
I've actually heard Sneako like talk about his dad like quite a bit too, and it's like he kind of talks about his dad with like a lot of regret. Like he feels like his dad like compromised like his life for like a family, and I'm just like, yeah, but like if he didn't like do that, you wouldn't be like around, man, like and doing the things that you did. So in reality, your dad your dad sacrificed, but all that sacrifice was for you.
I've never taken a day off since then. I've always been in a job, and you know, my first few years, all I was doing was working. I was a wagey, I made my money, and I lived very, very frugal. Meaning I had nothing. I had money, but I had no asset, no nothing, no fun. I saved up my money, and I was able to start my first little business with friends. And then from there, I was learning how to snowball my money. And it wasn't until my late 20s. I'm 28 now. I spent most of my 20s trying to build.
Dude, I'm still a wager right now, man. I'm still trying to like figure it out too. I just like never made like that type of money where like I'm like a lot smarter now, and like really like Mudahar is like the exception to the rule and not the rule. People generally don't make their money in this country until like they're in their 40s.
It is working your ass off. It's making legitimate sacrifices to make a better version of yourself that you can then sell to the people around you. Now, of course, these people like to talk about getting the girls, getting the yachts, getting everything. But generally, you gotta work hard. For Sneako, the only actual interaction that I've ever had with him, and an actual talk, was with Destiny, Abba, and Preach. And it was about like the idea of colleges, and if colleges are stupid, and making TikTok videos is better. And the idea is, generally, the best advice I could give you in that situation is figure it out for yourself. Look at the safest possible route. Going to a trade school, going to university. Maybe YouTube will work, but you gotta kind of do it in the beginning and take it off. You can't bank on doing social media stuff and making a crap ton of money there. even if Sneako will tell you,
Like, you should hedge
there's
your
a
bets.
lot of money to be made, only a very small percentage of people actually succeed on these platforms. And of course, when it comes
That's
to
like
women and it comes to
very true.
relationships, the whole
Like
idea
you
I
can
say
like
is
get like a
nobody
setup like
entitles
I
you to
have
any
for like
relationship.
relatively cheap
At the
and
end
just
of the
like
day, you have to work on yourself as a person and you
breathe into a
can't
mic. There's some people who just aren't like entertained. Look at the people who like succeed on these platforms. They're wildly entertained. You're watching them right now, thinking, "What am I doing wrong?" Well, I mean, you're not them. Like you have to like find your own voice. And some people just like, listen. You need accountants. You need people picking up the trash. You need cops. You need so and so. You need this. You need that. You need these people. Not everyone can like do this.
When in reality, as my father taught me, most of your problems stem from yourself. Okay? If nobody wants to date you, if nobody wants to give you a job, if you can't find a
Shit,
job,
there's like 3
chances
more.
are it's
Where are the
probably not
fucking?
world, it's not the women, it's not the systemic issue. It might ultimately come down to you as a person. In fact, 99% of the time,
There has to be like at least like one of us here.
really do is, before I end this, and say, if you're somebody that's young and you're falling into these traps where you're looking into these guys and their toxic ways for a way out, then ultimately you have to really sit yourself down in front of the mirror, okay? Actually ask yourself, am I the best version of who I can be? And if you're not, all right, if you are not, it's time to work on yourself. Look, if Sneako tells you to go to the gym, get fit, he's telling you the right thing. If Sneako tells you, you know, give up college, give up school, go to YouTube, definitely reconsider a lot of those situations. But again, I'm kind of rambling on over here. This marks the end of my Sneako video. This marks the end of my entire descent into looking into this manosphere bullshit. For me, I'm going to back out. I'm going to go cover creepy content. I have a 4chan video coming out probably tomorrow, the day after or something. But I've spent a year looking into this kind of stuff. And honestly, the only thing I'll ever make regarding this kind of content might be when Andrew Tate goes to prison or goes away scot-free on charges. It's the only thing that I worry about from this entire community. Other than that, there's not much I can say. This whole thing comes to an end. Ladies and gentlemen, if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike it, dislike it. Man.
Okay, guys, how are you? I'm doing well, thank you. I came across this video here just randomly as I was about to stream, and it is Destiny defending Sneako. I watched the first like minute of it. I was like, oh, I kind of agree with some of this stuff, but I wanted to talk about it. So the video's called "Abba Found Out What Destiny Said About Sneako and Confront Him." Ooh, spicy. So let's get this party started. Thank you so much, Based. Thank you, brother.
He was such an insanely open person to like have two guys, black dudes, in this community talking about this is like.
I'm not entirely sure what he's talking about. That the community part I kind of can get. I don't. We'll see what he has.
It's actually
I'm sure he'll explain.
Insane thing for him to be brave enough to do it, and now he's just like completely programmed. It's like the destroying moment of his entire existence was this.
So here's the thing. I understand what Destiny is saying, and I partially agree. I even said this in my video where I covered like the Moist Critical and Abba thing. I like their last thing. I think I called it like Sneako gets systematically just deconstructed by Abba, and I'll put it in the description. I said that like it's interesting because that was a really vulnerable moment, and I can respect that vulnerability. But the problem is Sneako doesn't respect the vulnerability of other people. And that's why I don't care. It's one of those things where I think that clip was like making the rounds a little bit, but I don't think anybody really talked about it until after Sneako started to spiral out of control and act like a real, like just a disrespectful person fundamentally. And at that point, I don't care. It's one of those things where like if you're a respectful person, like I could defend it and be like, oh, you know what, like, I respect this, I do that. But you get to a certain point where it's like, why should I care if somebody's getting a little bit bullied on the internet when they're not a nice person? So, not to be rude, but Sneako's very disrespectful constantly to everybody about everything. That was a really vulnerable moment, and I'll have those moments as well. But like all he does is
my policy on the internet: don't be vulnerable on the internet, because the internet has no chill.
He's not actually being funny He just likes to bully people and call it comedy. And then when he receives it back, he melts down. I always talk about when we had our conversation, he was like going on about how, oh, you love your wife. Oh, like I was cringe somehow. And then made fun of like the stuff I had back there. I was like, okay, so I made fun of him. I said like maybe the reason that women don't want to date you is because you're not a real high value male. And he's like, oh, he's trying to
Dude, my fucking, I'm like at 30 frames right now.
To be some kind of a comedian. And then have a meltdown when somebody makes a joke about you, especially when you make jokes first. It's bizarre. So yeah.
Somebody hit me up and they said you disagreed and you thought that Sneako was brave.
Oh, at the time he did that video, yeah, I thought he was super brave, but
Yeah,
obviously
sure. I
it's
agree
come
with
back to bite him in the ass now.
He deserves it.
Why do you think it came back to bite him in the ass?
I understand you guys too, because like, well, at some point, like, because like, especially for the Charlie shit, like, bro, if you're gonna go after, if you're gonna go
his girlfriend, that was even incredibly disrespectful. You don't go after another man's girl, especially like a longer term relationship. Like, you know, you get a certain point where it's wife status. That's like number one, you know, man stuff is like, hey, don't talk about another man's like wife. And that's not Charlie's wife. That's like a 5-year relationship, and you don't, unprompted, like what's for what? Like, you know, you're kind of asking for it at that point, you know? And that's where it really started, was like, I think that the people that really got him, like outside of like, I guess the playback community, was Charlie, because he was being disrespectful. So
after his girlfriend, like, in my opinion, that's, you're kind of at no holds barred at that point.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna say one thing, bro. What he did with your girl was kind of really cringe.
Yeah, the eyes was the reaction to him deleting a message that he was back in town.
Oh, see, that context changes it.
Ooh, I'm excited.
You started with me by insulting me and my girlfriend out of nowhere. So naturally, I responded by making fun of you in return and showcasing the reasons why I don't respect you. But unfortunately, I failed to calculate just how much of a sensitive fucking loser you are, because this hurt your feelings to such a high degree it's become like an Armageddon in your brain. 3 months, you have continued to melt down about this. The day after I posted my response, he went on stream and had a huge unhinged tantrum and meltdown about the whole thing, and then he sent some of his viewers over. So I was...
Alright, anybody owns a gun, please keep your finger off the trigger. If you're doing that and you pop off, you might kill the neighbors below you, above you, and you catching one of the dumbest manslaughter charges possible.
So I was joking with them, saying like, oh, you guys must have just stopped the Cuties watch party over there at Sneako's stream, right? Welcome, cucks, that kind of shit. And it got really under his skin in a big way, so he started dancing around with a gun and threatening to come shoot me. So he kept saying, oh, you're in Tampa, right? I'll come see you, waving his gun around and dancing.
You wanna watch my clips? Watch my clips. Watch my clips.
Damn, then he hits him with those aren't clips, those are mags, dude. And I was like, wow, I don't know much about guns based.
You want me to watch your clips? Watch my clips.
Oh my god, are we about to watch it again, guys?
What is it with them and self-snitching? What's up with that?
Did they do a follow-up? Because I feel like I haven't watched that video.
I think they did do a follow-up, actually. Because it was like, they made like 2-3 videos, I think. I thought they made just from like Sneako and Charlie. Bro, the whole thing was nuts, man.
You absolute buffoon. What you have there is not clip.
Oh, they did a follow-up. Oh my god. How crazy. Wait, what I find so interesting is that that video did even better, probably because they put the no. Dang. Okay. So Sneako's really hitting the rounds. Well,
these are mags. They're mags, not clips, you absolute dummy. The same way that this is also a mag. They're all
I watched
mags.
the Charlie
Stop
video,
saying clips, you look stupid here.
Loki, pull up.
Oh.
Yeah, Loki. Not even asking specifically Moist to have a boxing match.
This guy wanted to be a comedian. He then
yeah. Which, like, why would he ever do that? Even if Charlie could beat him up, like, why do it? Because what doesn't change anything that he said. But it's also like a clout grab. Like, bro, this is the saddest part, and I said this in my original video, is Sneako right now, and as much as I don't like him because I think he's a disrespectful, you know, individual that has like an absolute like worst part of the conversation when it comes to men, he's still successful even after his ban. But he doesn't realize it because he's not as successful, and I think it's eating at his ego. And so like he's been doing these desperate clout grabs. Like, stop trying to be a provocateur, chill for a little bit. If you really have like this powerful message you want to send people, chill for a little bit, focus on the
Like, the
fans
worst
that, like, really
thing
like
that
you
can like
for some
happen to
reason.
Sneako is that everybody just ignores them. And I feel like that's what's gonna happen.
Consider a better way to express your
That's like the
opinion
worst thing
if
that you
really
can
feel
do.
that you're correct.
If you're going through like this Sneako's
instead.
method, everyone just ignores you.
Like,
Hey, that might just happen too. That might be like, it's not worth it.
Think like, okay, because I've been on TikTok, blah 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 blah. We are no big TikTok guy, blah blah blah. And then like a lot of what I did after I got banned was like I did like soul searching on how I want to express myself. And like for a while, you know, there's like a lot of like, okay, how do I want to be viewed? What's my brand? What do I like? What was fair? What wasn't fair? What could I have done to do better? At the end of the day, you can only, you know, sometimes you can really only control how you express yourself. And even if Sneako doesn't think he should get banned, and frankly, I think it was reasonable considering what he was doing. But even if you think that like you shouldn't get banned, okay, think about like how you could operate in the system better. Like for instance, what does like the Daily Wire do? They will put out videos that they know won't get taken down on their YouTube, and then they'll put other stuff on their private like Daily Wire website where you have to pay to get in. Sneako could have done that. He could have, expressed, but he was making fun of Playback for doing something similar. They put more provocative takes on there because they're smart. Like they use YouTube, they stay within the boundaries, but they still make their content, and like they use YouTube as a plug to get more people to go to there. You could have done that, but instead it's like, oh, it's selling out. No, it's not. It's being smart.
Smart,
okay,
yeah.
It's selling out is when,
bro,
like,
you didn't like do
won't
that.
say,
Like everyone does
you
it too.
change your perspective because of like what the public is saying, even if you disagree.
Like I hope one day I can do that too. I'm just trying to grow like one platform. I actually prefer to stream on like Twitch because everyone I like is on Twitch. But like for someone like older like me, like streaming on like YouTube is like much like better. Like there's an older crowd on YouTube that I can probably connect with.
Let me grow as a person, because he probably could still be a pretty influential person if he just took like a year or two to just chill out. He's probably still doing well on Rumble. I think he gets like 10,000 views a video, which is probably good still on Rumble financially. He made his mill, so he doesn't have to like do crazy. It doesn't today doesn't have to define you. Like, oh god, today doesn't have to define you. Like today isn't the only day. Sometimes building and learning and growing is like very.
There's like young cats just gotta figure that shit out for themselves, though. You know what I mean?
Chill pill.
Like that's how I was too. Like young guys figure it out the hard way. That's just some guys can like they can learn from it immediately.
I'm not calling him small. I'm saying he has no muscles. Yeah, but hit the gym. Andrew Tate preaches getting a better physique. You really body watching right now? You're body shaming, but you can't fight, pussy. Chat, I'm not reacting to a stream. This guy.
That was my Sneako. Oh, body shaming. That's all Sneako does. Who cares?
You can tell him this. I want to meet him in person. Think about the logistics. Like his head is like under
Christ,
6 inches. Like
I feel like this interview was like the defining thing for Sneako's entire life. Was this interview? It's got to be like his biggest regret. And the thing that sucks too.
No, it's not. I guarantee. Listen, okay. When you listen, I remember a while ago, there was like a certain situation where I got very vulnerable and I got upset. And I'm proud of it, but I cried a little bit. Not like, but like you could see that I was like that a little bit. If I could go back, I wouldn't put it up there. But. And people make fun of it a little sometimes. Like sometimes I had this interview and I was like, "Have you ever loved?"
That's why I just don't think like you should be vulnerable like on the internet, man. It gets weaponized against you way too easily.
Like,
I understand like you want to connect with people. Those are like private conversations. And if like they like break your trust and they publish that private conversation, you just cut them off. If you have like a lawsuit, go ahead and sue them. Especially if it was the conversation was intended to be private.
And it's okay. And I don't disrespect people who aren't disrespectful. And so people don't have like a reason to do stuff like that. If you want to be a vulnerable person or like sometimes express vulnerability, people won't make fun of you that much as long as you're strong about it, and people will respect it. But when you start treating other people like shit, they're going to go after you because that's what you're doing to them. So like, yeah, he probably does regret it, but you know what? He deserves it. Like, it should be an exercise in empathy for him. Because like he was being disrespectful. Like, that moment, like if you look at that moment now, if Sneako was a good person, could be like, oh wow, that was a really awesome moment of vulnerability from Sneako. I respect that. But it can't be anymore because he's not somebody that deserves respect in general. So have you ever loved Sneako?
Most about this is that like it
All right,
took
what you
a
gotta
lot.
do?
It's like really brave.
60
what he did
glaive
sexually,
kill?
and for him to come out and talk about it, like he was such an insanely open person to like have two guys, black dudes in this community talking about this is like it's actually such an insane thing for him to be brave enough to do it. And now he's just like completely programmed. It's like the destroying moment.
What does he mean by black dudes? Because like I understand like saying in that community because that's like the Playback. I don't dislike.
It's not
Playback,
like
but they're manosphere adjacent, like similar to
when he says like in the black community,
preach, right?
it's
So
like
they're,
a
right
certain
there,
group of like
you know what I mean? If the manosphere didn't exist,
like
you know,
black men in that community
people,
who
like,
would look at behavior like that Sneeko did as like not being like manly. You know what I mean? Because there is like a group of people like that, like in the black community. There's actually a lot of black guys that are in the manosphere community too.
Thank you.
But those guys look at like what like Sneeko did is like not very manly, and they kind of point out the hypocrisy of like, hey, you talk about being a man, you talk about like this and that, but then you allow like this to happen. You were so like open about it too. You keep that stuff like on the quote unquote like DL, like you just don't talk about it. You know, if you've done it before, done something like that too. I think like there was an issue with like someone from like No Jumper 2 who might have had like had sex with like a trans woman, and they were calling the guy out. So if I can remember, somebody can remember to show it, like link me the video, like I'll take a look at it, but something along those lines. And like the guy just got like shit all over too, and he got so upset because it was he told it in confidence and it came out. You know, that's why I always say secret's only a secret if no one else knows about it. If you got a secret, don't tell anybody, because it's gonna come out. I'm wondering like what's procking. Damn, man. I got 2 of these things. That's actually not bad at all, that Lupi. What does Loopy do again?
Bad people, but like they're like somewhat there. So there's like that community that's like will bully somebody for being a little more open. You know what I mean? They're still in some ways a little regressive, like when it comes to fat people and stuff, right? Just like how I should be regressive when it comes to my morbid obesity, right? I should regress the weight.
Like at least some nightfalls.
Black thing. I don't get that. Maybe it's because that community tends to be more black. Like if you look at Manosphere and Manosphere adjacent spheres, they're disproportionately black. So maybe it's because of that. And like if you listen to black women will a lot of times be like, hey, I feel like black men disrespect us and they treat us as like overly masculine and blah blah blah. And like, well, sorry, I'm not trying to blah 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 that. So maybe that's what he's referring to. I don't think it's an inherent black quality. I'm just saying that that's what I hear from like black women. They'll express frustrations, which works for me because that's just at least more black girls for me. No, it doesn't. I'm married, sorry. All jokes aside though, maybe that's what he's referring to. I don't know, but okay.
Of his entire existence was this, but
his eyebrows are like tickling the bottom. I'm not gonna lie, the stuff that's in this video is probably some of the gayest shit I've ever seen him potentially do.
Hello?
Hey, somebody hit me up and they said you disagreed and you thought that Sneeko was brave.
Oh, at the time he did that video, yeah, I thought he was super brave. But obviously, it's come back.
Sneeko isn't brave. That vulnerability was brave, though. Okay, let's just be clear.
To bite him in the ass now.
Yeah. Why do you think it came back to bite him in the ass?
Well, because he became a bot, right? I feel like Sneeko's early life was like a brutally honest look into the mind of a growing young man in America, a growing young black man in America, even to some extent. And
maybe, yeah, maybe, okay.
That you got a really raw, really honest look into somebody's brain that was like very open, very engaging, did some wild shit, admitted that he was vain, admitted that he, needed compliments, admitted he did dumb things, tried crazy sexual things, like all these things, and it was just like a super raw honest, but now he's like an ultra insecure, like trapped in the matrix, like bot.
So the thing is like, listen, that's not my general interpretation, but I could be wrong. But if that's how you feel, Sneeko was valued for that then. That's right, Sneeko was valued for that vulnerability. And so, like, again, I think that if he maintained that, like, intelligent, like that, you know, level of intelligence, that he wouldn't be bombarded so
I
hard.
wonder if there's like a way to predict,
you know, I can respect that,
like
especially
which
with
zone's gonna
Destiny
have
gaining
like that
prevalence,
mission.
where like he is somebody who engages in similar-ish behavior, kind of.
These
or at
heroic
least, like, people would
missions.
consider it somewhat similar, and like Destiny's becoming like a pretty. He's becoming like a pretty. He's becoming, I guess, Manosphere adjacent. You know, he's showing up more and more in the Manosphere to counter some of the stuff, but generally considered like a almost a positive, right? He's like a pundit for anti-Manosphere bullshit or anti-sexist bullshit in the Manosphere, but like not a dumb pundit like most like news organizations will take on.
So it's like now all of it obviously comes back to bite him in the ass because it betrays.
Oh, maybe he meant that it was just brave to hang out with two black guys because black guys are scary. True.
Programming.
Yeah, I think the stuff that he said in the past would never have been an issue for the vast majority of people. Had he not become what he is today.
Yeah.
True, yeah.
It's like he became the very thing that he claimed he detested before. I think there was a clip of that too. There's like this clip of him as a kid who's like, I hope I never become this super judgmental, whatever, this and that. And
yeah, there's also a clip of him being younger. Like, you don't have to buy some program, like so basically like some Andrew Tate program, and then that's all. That's all he sells now.
I just think I see him now. And that's all he does. He tells people they're disgusting for having a girlfriend who isn't up to his standard, or they're not manly enough, or for whatever reason, like he'll complain about people body shaming him, but he'll body shame fat people all the time. It's just, I don't know, it's just so crazy to me that you've said all these things and you don't recognize your own hypocrisy in all this.
Yo, for real though, I kind of wish Sneako would body shame me because like I don't. I mean, maybe it's because I'm not relevant enough, but he like we had our conversation and he like apparently he talks about me occasionally on stream and he calls me like Papa John or something like that, which is, you know, I'm not a huge fan of Papa John's. It's okay, the pizza ain't bad, but like I don't know.
I mean, yeah, it's not like, you know, being from New York, I've had like some really good like New York pizza. I've actually had some good pizza in Jacksonville, of all places too. But guess where they're from? They're from New York.
I had an issue with him admitting to that. So I think there's a lot of people who do the whole cucking thing, and if you want to be into that, like, do you, bro? Like, I don't care. But it's just crazy that you're like, oh, I'm a Christian, and you know, Christianity and Islam is the truth. Meanwhile, like, y'all own webcam businesses, or you're cucking on the sides. Like, yeah, people won't use that against you, you know.
Yeah, I have to stop saying based so much. It's weird. It's kind of mature and cringe.
Based. Based.
I mean, I don't think I can. I'll just be here to chill. But I think that like I think that the way the world works today, once you get captured by an ideology, you get expelled so hard by the competing ones or the contrary ones. There's almost like no way back. You'd have to be like.
I just, to be honest with you, I think I can agree to that partially, but also like one, I think that considering Sneako, a lot of what Sneako says is like pick yourself up by your bootstraps. He doesn't have that excuse because like at the end of the day, you're supposed to pick yourself up by your bootstraps, right? But secondly, Sneako is the problem with why people don't accept him. It's not like he has a manosphere ideology. And he's just like still a good guy. He's an asshole that's disrespectful. He's the one that's engaging in disrespect. If he wants to change, he's gonna have to put the work in there. He's gonna have to have the humility. I feel like it makes a little too much of an excuse for him.
The Pope. You'd have to be like somebody with such high moral character to actually make your way back from, because once you've been accepted by one side, they'll embrace you and they'll support you and they'll give you everything you need, and the other side will like demonize the you.
That part is true. So he basically have to give up his career probably to an extent. But I still think that Sneako is one of the more fortunate people in that area, because I think that Sneako can come back like much better than someone like Pearl can. Pearl was never valued for anything ever, and now she's just valued for being a pick-me girl. Sneako used to be valued for being like introspective, and he absolutely, I think, can get a pathway back. I think Sneako is probably the biggest example of somebody who could get a second chance. He's probably one of the most like privileged people when it comes to that perspective, because I know people like the playback community and whatnot would take him back, which is the community I think he rested in more than anything else, is that guy's community. I think that like ABBA would take him back, give him like a chance again. I think that of all the people who get like audience captured like this, Sneako's probably one of the most fortunate ones. One of the more fortunate ones.
So I mean, like, look at the rewards he's gotten for being on his side. He got to talk to Kanye West, proximity to Donald Trump, got to go to Dubai, friends with Andrew Tate, right? And then the other side, calls him a Nazi, calls him like bans him on YouTube. He's like, right? So I think it's just further accelerated constantly. And then he accelerates himself.
Of course, that's his fault. I mean, him going on stream and like sexually harassing that Chad girl, saying, "You want me to fuck you?" Blah blah blah, being like super provocative and shit like that. So
isn't that a meme that like lefties who became righties is like a big selling stick? Like,
true. Then he can make his "Why I Left the Right" video. Fucking cringe shit.
KD super chatted one.
Hey, thank you so much, brother.
It's not necessarily true. Like, just because you're on one side doesn't mean you can't switch. I think right wingers especially always accept left leaning people who convert.
No, I mean you can. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying it takes a lot. Like it feels like people don't tend to switch, but more that they're driven to a side more than anything else. So I think of like lefties being driven to the right. I'm usually thinking of somebody that had an idea that wasn't 100% orthodox, and then they got kicked out because they didn't conform completely as they were supposed to. And then that's.
Wait, when you say it takes a lot, what, it takes a lot of self-work, or it takes a lot to be accepted by the group?
If you're gonna switch back, in contrast to people on that side shitting on you, it takes a lot of introspection. It takes a lot of self-work.
Yeah,
most people I don't think can do. To get pushed from one side though is pretty easy. That's the natural human path, right?
Okay.
If everybody.
I feel acceptance from a group actually comes pretty easy, in my opinion. I think from what I've seen, like if I
Depends
came
on the
out tomorrow and
group.
I said actually I'm super right wing, or if like a lefty did that and they start disavowing most of the stuff on the left, I think the right will be very quick to embrace them. In fact,
okay, but I think that's a little bit different. Let's be real. The right will embrace people faster than the left will embrace people. I don't think it's because people on the right are more or less morally virtuous, but I think it's because it's like a kind of a demand. Generally speaking, the left is like the status quo. It is kind of like people would say the right side of history, and I tend to agree with most of like the overall perspectives on the left, even if I don't agree with like
100 Savages super chatted $1.99. A proud Guff 2024 USA.
Maybe. I don't think I'm really old enough. Thank you so much. But like I was saying, you know, it's more of like, you know, there is less. There's more demonization of people on the right, and some of them deserve it, like Nick Fuentes. And so there's like generally more of an acceptance to going to the right than from the left. The left is like a. Listen, I'm gonna be real with you. Like I don't like people like, you know, a lot of people like you're fucking like Matt Walsh is disrespectful piece of shit. But I will say, generally speaking, the more conservative leaning people I've met personally from anecdotal experience are nicer people. They're generally more understanding, and I think it's because it's one of those things where like you're just kind of used to, at least on the internet, kind of getting dumpstered on a little more, and you're kind of used to being treated like an asshole for your opinions. So you're usually a little nicer for some reason. So I can see going from left to right being a really easy process. Like going from right to left, and Sneako's basically on the right. Sneako is like it would be considered in like that conservative sphere. It'll be so hard for him to go progressive because nobody's going to care. So, but I think he could go towards the middle more. Honestly, I think that'll work just fine.
They'll go an extra mile to embrace them because they're like, look, basically this lefty, he's realized the truth or whatever. Am I incorrect?
Yeah, that's probably true. But like, do you think that the left would accept like Sneako back? If Sneako's like, guys, I shouldn't be insulting people. I'm making a change or something.
But he could go to the middle more, and he would be fine. I think he could get it relatively easily, like more where like Abba is. I think you know.
I don't think it happens as easily the other way around. No, I think it happens one way very easily. I don't think it happens the other way around.
Yeah, I think it's also hard too because the enforcement against Sneako right now is like institutional, right? Like he's banned off of real channels. It's not just a matter of being accepted. It's a matter of being like punished. You know?
Can he not actually like go on to it? I thought that he could still go on and talk to somebody else on YouTube. No, am I wrong about that?
I thought he could too. I think Destiny might have had him when he was banned on YouTube.
Am I wrong? I feel like he could still be featured.
I'm not calling him small. I'm saying
like he has this account called Stewie Guy that technically is somebody else uploading his clips. Can he still be talked about? Like or can he still have conversation? Or is he completely like hardline banned off of YouTube? I don't know.
You know, like here's something. Yeah, exactly. Like here's something that like I don't know how this would go for sure, but like let's say there is a path before Sneako where he could like kind of mellow the out and calm the down on everything. Yeah. But also at the end of that path, there was a guarantee that like if he kind of came back in line a little bit, that like his YouTube channel might be there for him, right? I think it would be a lot easier for him to contemplate the switch back. But right now, he's like think about it. He's on Rumble. His audience is all extremists. He was friends with Fuentes and shit. Like if he switches back, what is he's lost everything, right? Now he doesn't even have his Rumble audience are all gonna think he's a loser.
True, and you know what? To add to that, to give Sneako a little bit of credit, not credit, but is that I don't think he would get his YouTube back until he made that switch, right? So I think what Destiny's saying is like, you know, if he had that possibility of getting his YouTube back, or he got his YouTube back, he might actually like chill the fuck out because he would have access to a less extreme audience. And like right now, he's pretty much enthralled by audience capture of like really like edgy people. My thing is I don't think they would let him back until he made the change. Then they might let him back, if that makes sense. So
after. So he's like, you know.
Yeah, from an institutional standpoint, there's an advantage in being on the right. He's incentivized.
Where he's at now, yeah, because he's already banned on YouTube. So.
No, that's a fair point. That's a fair point.
I'm not necessarily like blaming you guys because I understand you guys too. Because like, well, at some point, like, because like, especially for the Charlie shit, like, bro, if you're gonna go after girlfriend, like, in my opinion, you're kind of at no holds barred at that point. That's like making fun of like a dying person or making fun of somebody's kid. Like, if you're going after significant others,
much,
like,
yeah,
you're
kind of.
Yeah, it's on.
I mean, even beyond that, even the gun stuff was crazy. Like, there's no way you could ever be on any platform other than like the crazy right-wing ones, waving a gun around and saying, "I'm gonna come behind you."
Yeah, that's pretty stupid.
Like, am I crazy for saying that? I don't think so. Like, I don't think you could ever be on YouTube saying that kind of stuff.
No, you can't even show guns live on YouTube. Yeah.
Right. So it's just one of those things that you watch the behavior over and over, and I'm just like, bro, what am I seeing? So I don't think it's just the significant other stuff. I think it's just.
I wonder if I just go back and forth between like these two zones, it's gonna like pop up more.
Slam it on his crotch area to shut her up. Yeah. I was like, what are you doing? You know? And so, on one hand, you want to give people.
And Abba warned him about that. So this is the funny thing. Abba warned him. He's like, yo, you can't be doing that. Because, like, that Nick is Not Green guy was being disproportionate when he said it was, like, simulating sexual assault. But it was still, like, I would consider some form of sexual harassment. If you do that at a workplace, you'd be fired or instantly. If, you, like, you know, if, like, you're lucky. I don't know. Like, it might be worse. I don't know. But they'd probably fire you because that's sexual harassment. And it's like, you're doing shit like that. And then, like, you know, you calling attention to it. Like, that's the stuff that Abba was like, yo, chill out. He just didn't listen.
People a chance to grow. On the other is like, how many chances do you give? How long does it have to go?
Yeah,
how much does the company have to tolerate before the person learns? You know? Because not everyone his age is doing this kind of crazy, like, retarded shit. So why are we giving him such a deference? Like, so many other people his age are able to be much more mature or like sensible about toning things down.
Yeah, and it's also hard. It's kind of like dealing with mentally ill people. Like, we should be really patient and kind.
Well, I don't know. It's one of, that threw me off. I think I forgot what I was gonna say. Hold on. Damn, what was I gonna say? Oh, I think that it really boils down to like the anti-woke shit. Like, he just doesn't want to conform to rules because, like, first of all, I think he has an ego problem, but additionally, he thinks that like the rules there's a matrix controlling it. And if I don't speak out against the rules, then like I'm not doing what I need to do. Like, blah blah blah, because he's anti-woke, right? And I think that part of him, he probably feels morally like, oh, I'm speaking out against this because this is wrong, and it's like, you know. Where it's more like almost every time he's speaking out against something or not following a rule, it's more of like, oh no, this is like morally a good thing to do and not do with these rules because I think that rules are bad. You know what I mean? Because I was spanked as a kid.
Trying to do what we can to help mentally ill, but if you've got like a mentally ill homeless guy about to beat the shit out of you because he's like on a fucking episode, I mean, like, the time for being nice is kind of like, at that point it's too late. Like, I'm sorry, like, you have to do something, you know. And so when people like Cinco, like I have a lot of sympathy for him and shit, but like when you start like attacking like family members and shit, like, yeah, like people are gonna, like, you're an adult, like, sorry, yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna say one thing, bro. What he did with your bro was kind of really cringe.
What he did?
That was cringe. That was cringe.
Wait, which thing?
Editing that conversation, and then making it seem like she was in your DMs. I don't know why, but that shit just that didn't sit like.
I didn't mind initially because he DM'd me and he asked me about it, and we f***ed around like that, and I'm like, okay, go for it, knock us about it. Like, if he's asking permission first, it's fine. The only thing that bothered me was he brought it up on a show 3 days later when he was in Dubai. Am I the little lesbian?
Oh, I'm curious about what they're referring to. I'm gonna slow it down a little bit. Sorry.
Days later when he was in Dubai.
That little lesbian who was disrespectful prophet, like his girlfriend's kissing other men. There's no.
Am I the little lesbian? Is that who he's referring? Is he referring to me here, or is he referring to someone else?
Oh, it's a video of his girlfriend or wife kissing another man in front of him or something like that. She's been messaging me actually. Where's the respect there? Where's the leadership there? I mean, how's their honor? Why he doesn't care? Because he chased the money. No, I showed him. I told him like your wife's like messaging me. His wife sent me DMs. No, he was cool with it. Like he said, oh, so that's fine. But a lot of these people, the one you just mentioned, that.
Why would he? Oh, come on.
So I don't know the exact context, but it sounded like whatever they had going on was like it was respectful. And then when this guy was basically disrespecting Destiny, saying that he's less than a man, this is what he's trying to say. He's less than a man, especially it's pretty explicit by going a lesbian, and he doesn't have control over his woman is what he's trying to get at. And Sneeko, instead of being like, yeah, no, I think I disagree with this, he's a friend, blah blah blah, or something, he's like, yeah, you know, his girlfriend was in my DMs. So it's him just kind of co-signing that perspective and saying, well, that's yeah, you're right. Bro, what to be honest with you, bro, Destiny I think Destiny is the mentally ill person here. Okay. Destiny has a real problem,
bro. He like trusts like the wrong people all the time too.
Where when he gets a friend, he lets them push so hard on him, and he's so
well. He trusts like the wrong people too. Like
I understand being charitable to your friends, and
he'd be like, "There's a limit." He's like super charitable. I think he said he wanted to be more charitable this year. Go back to not being charitable at all, people.
Tell you we're not friends anymore. If you have somebody who's going on actively disrespecting me, trying to call me less than a man, and instead of being like, well, he's a friend, and I think that like he's just a different, you know, and instead of being like, yeah, you know, he was blah blah blah, and just reinforcing it, I would be like, okay, we're not friends, because obviously you don't know how to have like a proper boundary. And I set those boundaries consistently, but this motherfucker Destiny is always giving so much charitability, and then it blows up in his face with like everybody that he's been friends with. It's like he doesn't have a normal friend. I would have like Vosh, Hassan, mostly like Destiny, sorry, Sneako, Mr. Girl, you know, like, you know, I don't understand it. I don't know if is it partially because he wants the friends that give him good content, because everybody I named was really good content for Destiny. So is it partially content brain? Is it just that like Destiny used to be or maybe he feels he used to be a bad person, so he tries to be additionally charitable? Because I feel like I do that too a little bit. I feel like there are people who I've frankly probably let walk all over me, even in my content phase, and my wife examines the interaction and says, you need to stop talking to this person and interacting here and here, because this is not good for you mentally, and this is not good for you like when it comes to your career either, because it's just draining you. And like, I have a very strong wife, she's a very strong woman, and that's like really helped me align in a way that like I'm very happy with myself. And I just like wonder what's like, you know, and it's helped me reel in like what is too far for me, you know. So I don't know, I feel kind of bad for Destiny. Like I feel like Ab is a person that wouldn't have that problem, because Ab is a normal fucking person on the internet. But when it's not a normal person on the internet, which is everybody else that Destiny interacts with, he's like way too charitable in my opinion. Maybe he likes the craziness. Yeah, this is alive. What's up, brother?
Come on, Sneako. Melina wants to, something Melina's wanted to do for a long time is prepared content. She wants to like have like a, because she used to do skits, I guess, like in high school on her shit. She wants to prepare content. And we watched Sneako's videos because I like Sneako's videos. They're really good and they're really well edited. And she was talking to me and she's like, I wonder if Sneako would help me like do like editing and shit. I was like, I don't know, DM him and ask. And she literally DMs, she's like, hey, what did you use to edit in the past? Do you want to do like a thing? And I said like, you guys should stream together. It'd be funny, because it would be, because Melina's funny and Sneako's funny. Why would you try to phrase this as like, oh yeah, she's in my DMs? Come on, really?
Wait, why am I?
To go and talk about both sides. Not only will they avoid any conflict, but even online at this point, if you bring somebody in that can challenge them to a debate and that goes against everything, who's going to expose them for their beliefs, they leave the call. They can't.
You are in the ultimate hug box. That if you insult like Islam, these people will tell you they want to kill you. It is the ultimate snowflake. Muslims are the ultimate snowflake online, and you're gonna.
I mean, not for nothing, but Sneako literally like ran from the conversation I was having with him. He felt stupid, and so him and his dumb fucking buddy just ran away and left. I don't really know where he I don't really get where he's like coming from here. With, they just run away. He's the guy that runs away. Unless you do like what Destiny does and you like make him feel like a special little baby boy, like he runs away. So I don't know what he's referring to there, but okay. Oh, Ryan Beard, what's up, brother? What's up, or friend? I found it interesting how he's very charitable to certain people, but not others. Like he's jumped to the calling me an obese version instead of listening to the points. It's so funny. I actually covered that situation offline. I'll probably release it around 10 o'clock today, so a few hours. I actually made that point there. It's like interesting that he was more angry with you, and I know you guys have some history, than he was with the girl who clipped him out of context. And it's like, it's interesting. I'm like, I'd be probably mad at her and be like, yo, you need to take this off the internet. And I think that she eventually did, but it's interesting. Where like, if you're his friend, he treats you way too good. And I think if you're his enemy, he treats you way too poorly. You know what I mean? Obviously, you're going to treat friends and you know, enemies differently, but there's something interesting about the Destiny.
Sit here pretend to be like upset about blue-haired losers online getting mad and running from debates. Oh my god, neither of these motherfuckers have ever opened a Quran in their life, and they're sitting here sipping for a religion that will murder people if you disagree with them.
Even be in an interaction where someone disagrees with them. Now they're like, this is people like Nick Fuentes or Zerka, people who are able to debate and talk to them, they'll just run away because they don't want to see that confrontation. And advice for anybody watching this:
when it comes to Nick Fuentes, it's not even running away. There's no point in having a conversation with Nick Fuentes. Like, there are people I disagree with that I can have conversations with, and that's awesome. Nick Fuentes is somebody who is a literal racist sexist who thinks that fucking sleeping black people is a degenerate act and that race mixing is wrong. And the problem is that a lot of people are really stupid and susceptible to his dumb fucking messages, and people will be like, after a conversation with like Pearl, like, he's so reasonable. No, he's not. He just knows how to appear reasonable. All right, he thinks that like white people and black people having sex is a literal fucking sin. Like, I don't know, there's a point where it's like, what productive conversation can I have? Like, that's not like your traditional conservative. That's like actually a Nazi. Like, I mean, he's a white supremacist. Like, there's no value there. There's no like difference in opinion. He's a morally, there's only so much like that you could really put up with. Now, if you want to talk to him, be my guest. I don't care. But like I'm saying, like I wouldn't. What's the point? There's no point. If anyone should talk to him, it should be like Destiny, because frankly, he's the only one that knows how to wrangle that fucking idiot. But I wouldn't. waste time. It's not about running away. It's like, why would you talk to somebody like that? Somebody who thinks that like the existence of Jewish people is bad. Like, I don't understand, especially as somebody with like ethnic fucking, a little ethnic Jewish blood in you. What's the productiveness? Okay, I don't get it. I'm also told the girl clipped him out of context because I assumed it wasn't dishonestly edited, which made me end up looking bad. Yeah, I get that. When I first watched that, Ryan, I actually thought it wasn't out of context either, and I did like a little segment on my stream, and then afterwards I'm like, oh wow, it actually is really bad because the source material doesn't exist. Destiny's too charitable to her because he was like, oh, well, I think that she did that because she had an overall message she wanted to present. And she's used to not using people, so she used me as to present like the argument she wanted to argue against. But I didn't realize she said something that made me look bad. And I was like, wow, you're
is
so
this like a
charitable.
Pearly thing?
Like, damn. You know what I mean? So I think maybe Destiny's just used to being like taken out of context so much that he almost doesn't care anymore, and it's just like, fuck it, I don't give a shit, you know?
Does seem like he does close himself off like quite a bit too, but it is what it is.
Reaction channel, but okay.
He's trying to make Destiny's wife look shady. Yeah, I know. Like him messaging me like, hey, this is what Melina's saying. Like, yeah, no shit. I was there when she wrote you the message. What?
Yeah, so right there, like, I think that would be like a significant, like, yeah, I don't really think I want to be friends with Sneeko anymore thing. Because that's just so slimy. Like, what kind of a fucking friend? There's a, you know, I like having conversations and having friends with differences of opinion. Like Ryan, you know, I would consider a friend of mine, and we have differences of opinion. But like, that's just intentionally slimy, like malicious bullshit right there. Why be that person's friend anymore? You know, like they can't. The only person left that treats Sneeko like a fucking human being is Destiny, and he can't even treat Destiny with like a basic level of respect. Why be his friend? I don't get it.
Well, I'm pretty sure Melina posted the DMs, and Sneeko before he asked me if it was okay to tweet this, which I respect. I admire that, but it was like it's as a joke.
I mean, I wouldn't. First, not for nothing, you shouldn't respect or admire it. That should be baseline. Hey, can I post this joke that makes it look like your fucking wife is simping for me? Oh yeah, okay, that's like bare minimum. That's not something to even respect. That's the way that he says like, oh, I respect that. Why? That's fucking normal. That's bare minimum. Okay.
This is what I say. What I mean, like, I feel like nobody can joke or meme anymore because everybody turns it so serious. It was a funny tweet, but he went back and he deleted his reactions to her shit before he tweeted it out. And I'm like, bro, but now you're gonna use this later on as like a, oh yeah, like his wife. Come on, seriously? Because some guy brought up me as like a blue-haired feminist or something, and then he was like, oh yeah, his wife is in my DMs, and I'm like, really? You're really gonna do that after we like joked around? Okay, but yeah.
I think that once I start making some good money again on this, I might actually find like a decent editor to do clips and like do a little bit of editing like this, because I like it when he has somebody like look for with a clip of when something happened when he brings it up, and I think it's like really effective. So.
But first off, that's super weird, and I understand people are very open-minded with their relationships, and like you're kind of not territorial in that regards. But I don't know. To me, that's super weird. And what I think really also annoys the shit out of me is if you would have done something eerily similar about him and his girl, or if you would have insinuated some kind of lie that wasn't true, you know
he would have had a meltdown about how you're emasculating him. 1000%. Like that's exactly what that's probably what he's doing.
Super butthurt about it. That's the other thing. It's like this whole like, oh, it's just jokes, man. We're just comics. Like, yeah, that's fine, but you got to be able to take it too. And I don't think he's that kind of person at all.
Yeah.
So I thought that was weird. He's like, oh yeah, his girl's in my DMs. Are you really okay with that, even if it is a joke?
Yeah, I mean, not for nothing. Like, it's okay to be a sensitive person. That's something I've learned. I'm not a sensitive person, but it's something I learned is like, it's okay if you're sensitive, but you need to be consistent. If you're going to be sensitive, then you have to be sensitive to other people. If you're sensitive about people saying things about you, that's perfectly fine, but you don't get to participate in
yeah, it's the first time I ever saw one on Lyman Harbor before.
Anymore. All right, that's the thing. You're not allowed to do that. You have to be sensitive as like if you want people to treat you in like a sensitive way, you need to do the same. So you don't get to be sensitive boy that like lets his fucking girl get cucked and then talk shit about people and not take that joke back. Like I don't understand. Like it's pretty simple stuff there, you know.
No, wait, have you read the DMs?
The DMs were innocuous.
No, yeah, she was just because Melina likes to do edited content, and we watched some of those videos and shit. They're really
Hitting things is so much easier than actually dealing with emotion.
It's so crazy. So he does like all the editing, all the shooting, all the scripting, like, and it's all really well done, right? And it's insightful, right? That is true. Hitting this guy is easy to deal with emotion, but I feel like if somebody said that today, you'd be like, that's gay, right? I love this shot. I don't know if this is intentional or not, but like Sneeko.
I don't know what he's talking about. Hold on, let me just slow it down. It's all so fast. I want to hear what he has to say.
All the scripting, like, and it's all really well done, right? And it's insightful, right? That is true. Hitting this guy is easy to deal with emotion, but
hitting things or hiding.
I feel like if somebody said that today, you'd be like, that's gay, right? What? I love this shot. I don't know if this is intentional or not, but like Sneeko and Mr. Girl do like some type of collab video. I'm generally there as a friend to talk to if you want to.
Bro, I just don't get the Mr. Girl shit. Like, this is an actually abusive person. I don't understand the fucking charitability onto this person. It fucking blows my noodle, man. He's a real piece of shit. I understand Sneeko. I do. I just don't understand Mr. Girl. I don't understand the continuous
content brain
conversation about this person.
It's just content brain.
Fucking worthless piece of shit.
It's pretty rare that I insert like, hey, you should stop doing this, or hey, you should do this.
Like, we're talking about a guy who's like admitted to being physically and emotionally abusive, and he doesn't care. And it's like the only reason he stopped, it seems, is because he realized they're not giving him. He only stopped being physically abusive because he realized they weren't giving him what he wanted, just what they thought he wanted. It's like that's not a good reason to stop being abusive. It's one thing if you're like an abusive person and like you realize you fucked up. It's another thing to be like, yeah, I realized I wasn't actually getting what I want out of it. It blows my mind, bro.
Because I feel like everybody's kind of left to their own, and they can live their own lives the way they want to. Yeah, I don't try to take it, but I guess that's also.
Yeah,
that's what my best friend Dylan's up, I guess. I've had a few weird dreams lately, and Chris shows up in some of them. And I don't know if it's because I generally always lucid dream. I don't know why. I feel like I'm always in control. Every time I see him, I was like, you know you're dead, right? And he's like, yeah. But I'm just like here to hang out. And I'm like, his old videos were so good. They were so good. So she wanted to ask him if you want to do a stream like going over, like I guess how he used to like put together some of his older videos. Like that's it. But he's trying to make it sound like she's like they're like trying to whatever.
Well, I mean, you could easily make that case. It's not a hard case to make because in a vacuum, if I just saw those DMs, I wouldn't think much. But if someone frames it as like, oh, they keep messaging you and they want more, I could look at those messages and see why that would be true.
Well, but that wasn't the case. I think she sent like 2 messages. And then a couple of
no, it was like 3 and then with some eyes at the end.
Yeah, but I mean, like he was reacting to every message, but he deleted the reaction before he posted it.
The way that picture looked, it looked like she was actually based off of what I see. There was no reactions apparently from the one.
Yeah, because he deleted the reactions to the text before he posted it.
That's cringe. That's just cringe. I don't know. But, yeah.
But I mean, like I'm in an open relationship. I don't care about jokes about it. Like that doesn't bother me. But like if he's trying to use it to build like serious credit or some shit, then obviously it's a little bit different because now you're like, why are you being malicious about it? You know? But
especially since like again, I feel like Destiny's only real friend left that like what a sad. Damn, I just got fucked. What a sad thing to do.
Yeah, I think it's not just social. Like, yes, you're in an open relationship, but I don't know if someone just claimed that they were sleeping with your girl. I don't know. Even like if they didn't, then I think that's just weird.
Yeah.
It's just making her seem like she's thirsty for one of Steven's friends, which maybe you don't care about. But the fact that it isn't true, he's framing it as if it is. I know.
No, yeah, there's a lot of weird games where people play like it's one of those things like I don't even think how these people care about fucking. It's all just like status and shit to them, and it's like who can I fuck and who can I like get in my bed notch count up with, and like can I fuck over Destiny with or something? Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird, but
okay. Listen, open relationships is something I don't really completely understand the way some people explain it to me. As I understand, you guys are free to kind of fuck whoever you want. I'm sure there's probably stipulations in there. But when it comes to people you guys both mutually know,
yeah,
like friends, like let's say it's your friend and then you introduce her to Melina and they want to. Am I asking weird questions? Because I feel like this is
that would be like personally for me, like that was like a boundary. When I was like in a poly relationship, like that's just too much. I mean, Destiny I don't think has that same boundary. Seems like he doesn't give a shit. But
whatever you want.
Okay.
Wait. Let me give it. Hello. I do have to go to the gym in 1.5 hours, though. Okay. So if somehow this conversation.
Oh, he is working out. Oh yeah. I could. There's a video I just talked about. Like, oh, does this guy even working out anymore? Like, I thought he stopped. Cool. Good for him. I wonder what he's doing. That's like the only thing people keep telling me I should talk to Destiny. It's probably the only thing I would actually want to have a conversation about. Because I started going back to the gym too and seeing what he's like actually doing at the gym. But it sounds like kind of a cringe reason to have a conversation. So.
Conversation drags out and I have to leave suddenly. Don't think I'm mad, okay?
Okay, I'm actually okay.
Yeah,
fair. Yeah, because I know me and he.
Wait, can I say something?
Yes, I want to ask you questions on the girl.
Yeah, the eyes was the reaction to him deleting.
Always definitely, I think.
Oh, see that context changes it, but without that, it looks crazy.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Okay, what's up? What's your question?
Hold on, I'm actually curious, Melina. How do you feel about it?
See, I think he's selfish.
Damn.
And I feel like he cares about things that he should be caring about. Probably. Pretty shitty.
Could you explain?
Fuck. Like I think Steven is gonna be really good to him. Even though they disagree on things, and then he decides to like suck some other guys' like cock stuff by saying things that make him look good and make us look bad.
God damn, woman.
That's fuck. I said it. And you stop saying this. She's 100% correct.
You vibe with that?
Destiny, it's obvious that you're sexist because you're not valuing your wife. Is this wife or is it girlfriend? I don't know. Opinion enough. Okay.
All right, I think I'm done. Also, like, my stomach hurts.
Just that he's like
all right,
nice
folks.
to him. He's
I'm just gonna like
nice to him.
I'm just gonna log off here real quick.
Bizarrely beyond nice to him. Okay.
I'll see you guys like tomorrow afternoon. No, I've only been like streaming for like what? Not even like a full like 3 hours. I'm just like Like, not feeling well right now. All right. Stay frosty, touch grass, Godspeed. I'll see you guys tomorrow.